Wow. Right. Well, Sayu's mother wasn't totally convinced at all. So sinabi na niya kay Sayu na basically finish high school, then do whatever you want. Do whatever the hell you want. Right? You know, that's the gist of it. So, well, Yoshida flies back to Tokyo, but only, well, umami na rin sa Sayo na, well, dapat siya pala si Yoshida. Pero sabi ni Yoshida, if I wait for you, I'll be an old man. Ang harsh. Ang harsh naman. But tinanggap naman ni Sayu, and basically, well, they parted ways. Then I think a year later, well, everything was fine with everything's going smoothly with all the other characters. Then final scene, well, we're back to the pilot, or so it seems. Andun mismo si Sayu. Okay? The way Yoshida found her in the first place. Doon mismo, sa lugar na yon. Sa lamppost na yon. Nakaganon. So, I wonder why. I wonder why this time. Alright? Well, it's quite a it's a quiet finale, right? Overall. So, like I said, it's a quiet finale. Okay? And pace, well, pumikap lang ang pace nung aftermath na. Okay, so the episode told us how everybody was doing and where they are in their lives. So, yeah. If this is the usual pacing for a drama anime's finale, siguro okay din. Okay? Flow naman. Well, the only gear shift I saw here was when, well, umami na rin si Sayu na, well, mahal niya si Yoshida. Okay, but Yoshida couldn't love her back kasi bata pa eh. Alright? Bata pa eh, okay? Utak na yung ginagamit. Utak na ni Yoshida ginagamit niya dun. Alright? So, well, bottom line, he told Sayu na, well, what's call this? If ever you become a productive member of society, then you might have a chance with me. Yun ang bottom line niya. But Sayu's bottom line was different. Okay, turned out to be different. Basically, sinabi niya kay Yoshida na that this is the last we'll see each other. Well, true to her word, that was the final scene of the finale. Alright? So, yeah. Basically, that was the gear shift that ended this entire anime. Okay? So, plot-wise, planchado. Alright? Kasi, hindi ko masabi malinis because there were aftermath scenes. Okay, right up during the last third of the episode. Okay? So, pero, it was, you gotta give it to Project Number 9. They, this finale was organized enough to make you cheer for the lead characters. Okay, okay na mga buhay nila. Right? Then, of course, in the final scene, Sayu is back. Alright? So, well, what does this mean? Mamaya, sasabihin ko after my rating. Alright? So, pace, flow, and plot. Okay? They all came together in this episode. Oh, by the way, there is a there was another gear shift I saw here when Yoshida tried cooking miso soup on his own, tapos hindi niya mahuli yung flavor na alam niyang si Sayo lang ang makakapagbigay. Yeah, he broke down a bit there, and he admitted that he was the real kid here. He was the one who's not okay. Alright? In all indications, mamaya sabihin ko. So, Higehiro finale? Why not? 2 thumbs up. Bakit? Well, number one reason ko is, well, it's basically my first time to review a romance anime. Right? Kahit di nagkaaminan pareho, it's still a romance anime. Right? So, pero, I've heard just yesterday, as of this recording, that this anime is very controversial now in Japan. I think I know why. Because it tackled the subjects of bullying and suicide. Right? I think these two, bullying, yeah. It's a social issue right now, even in Japan. Pero suicide, I think it's taboo. Right? Well, here in the Philippines, suicide and bullying are also social issues. And suicide is not much kasi rarely people kill themselves here. Right? Rarely do Filipinos kill themselves. But if there are signs of depression, you have to help them. Okay? Because definitely that will lead to suicide if it goes unchecked. Okay? Kasi mental health awareness here in the Philippines is more we take it more seriously compared to Japan. Okay. So, well, at least Higehiro is getting the hype it deserves for being for raising awareness when it came to suicide and bullying. Okay? So meron talagang aral na mapupulot ang mga anime fans dito, especially when it comes to mental health. Okay? When it comes to mental health primarily, and also bullying. Now, why did I called Yoshida's breakdown a gear shift? Well, that gave me a hint that a season 2 is in the offing for Higehiro. Tapos, na-confirm pa yon sa final scene when, well, obviously, Sayu ran away from home again. Naglayas na naman ang babae. And in the same spot where Yoshida found her. Grabe. So, to me, those are signs that Higehiro will return for another season. Okay? Oh, I hope it does. Kasi, this anime has been used to raise awareness for bullying and suicide. Right? Mental health. Okay? It has become a vessel for mental health awareness. Ang Higehiro. Because we all know during the second half of the run, tinakel yun. Okay? Sayu's best friend in school kills herself because because of the constant bullying she got. Hindi na, well, Sayo isn't there for her all the time. Right? Pero, but during the times when Sayo was there, talagang pinagtatanggol ni Sayo yan. Right? And, well, her suicide affected Sayo. Kaya siya naglayas. Right? At ito namang nanay niya was so arrogant, she failed. Okay, obviously, she failed to listen to her daughter first. Instead, she listened to other people. Right? That's a no-no when it comes to mental health. Pakinggan mo muna ang person concerned. Pakinggan mo muna. Siya ang unang mong dapat pakinggan. Okay? If you really want to help. If you really want to help that person. So, yeah. Based on what Higehiro did to raise mental health awareness, yeah, this can be a contender for the Lifestyle 10. Okay? Ganun lang. I hope Higehiro gets a season 2. Because, well, anime fans need this anime, of course, to be more aware of mental health. Okay? So, of course, be also aware of bullying. Be conscious. Be able to do something about it before it gets out of hand. Right? So, again, Higehiro finale. 2 thumbs up. Most socially conscious, 2 thumbs up. Mga lifestyle. Well, of course, no teasers. Kasi tapos na eh. So, what are we gonna do? Well, let's not keep our hopes up for Higehiro having a season 2. Kasi medyo, by the way I see it, medyo matagal pa. Because the manga is still ongoing. Okay, based on my own research, the manga is still ongoing, and well, you don't want to preempt project number 9 about what to discuss in season 2, if ever. Kaya don't keep your hopes up, but personally, I'll be glad if Higehiro gets a season 2, returns for another season. Kaya, so enjoy the other reviews, folks. Alright? Enjoy the other reviews.
Wow. You know what? I just couldn't celebrate because we have experienced another major character death in this anime. Yep. You guessed it. Gugu is gone. He died by saving Rin. Okay. Hindi nga niya matulungan si Fushi sa pagsukbo sa knockers. And well, probably at the moment of death, Fushi instantly assimilates his form. Even Fushi couldn't believe it himself na wala na si Gugu. And here he is, using Gugu's own form to battle the knockers. But if there's anything good that came out of this anime, is that, well, Fushi has found another weakness in the knockers. When the battle took to the sea, it's the knocker's current form of that giant bear, but it was more terrifying because it can now assume stone. Yeah, bato. Gugu have a really hard time neutralizing this form because bato eh. What can fire do to stone? Unless the fire is hot enough to melt it. Okay, so yeah. Fushi found that weakness himself. Pagka the moment na tumuntong yung knockers sa seawater. Ayun, biglang 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 kumalas na parang it basically disintegrated like a house of cards. It basically collapsed. I'm sorry. It basically collapsed like a house of cards. Tapos yung core just swam away in fear of its own life because it's at its most vulnerable. Fushi can easily kill it with that form. He can easily kill a knocker in that form, totally defenseless. Pero tinanong siya ng creator, is this a wise? Yeah, essentially, is this a wise choice for you? Pinapahabol nga sa kanya ng creator yun eh, but he chose not to. So, final scene, he decides to leave the place. He decides to leave that area. I forgot the name of that island. I forgot the name. Well, his reasoning was simple. He doesn't want other people to die because of him. Right? Gugu's death really hit him hard. Kasi, well, magkapatid na ang turingan nila eh. And you could really feel Fushi's pain in the latter half of this in the latter third of this episode. Yeah, especially during that final scene. He even had to lie to Rin. At sinabi niya kay Rin na si Fushi ang namatay. He took on Gugu's form. Okay. Pero later on in that final scene, Rin totally got it. That Gugu was actually the one dead. And her words were, he's probably with him right now. Rin is referring to Fushi. So yan, umiiyak na rin sa lungkot si Rin because, well, the two people closest to her are now gone. Okay, of course, Gugu's not coming back. And Fushi, he left the place in order for not the knockers to come back there. Baka may madamay nga naman eh. Fushi, well, Gugu was enough to convince him to leave. Gugu's death was reason enough for him to leave. Yeah. And I thought Rin would last forever. No. Damn those knockers. Alright? Damn those knockers. Overall, yeah, it's a crazy good episode. Right, first, March, now Gugu. Pace. Well, you couldn't ask for more about the pace because, well, it was paced just right for us to realize that, yeah, when Gugu was holding that pile of rubble on his back para hindi matamaan si Rin, para hindi mataganan, yeah, you could actually feel his anguish right there. And the pacing will make you realize it, will make you feel his pain. And of course, when Fushi suddenly assumed Gugu's form, that meant only one thing. That meant only one thing for both Fushi and the viewer. Gugu is gone. Patay na siya. Alright? And wow, Fushi nearly lost it when he was battling this knocker. He nearly lost it. You could feel Fushi's pain while he was fighting this abomination of a villain. Okay. Wow. The the um the pacing will make you realize that. Slow but painful. Flow naman. Well, first gear shift I saw here was when Fushi was trying to save all those lives. He's trying to make them get out of that place para bago bumigay yung mansyon. He was actually holding the roof just long enough for them to evacuate. Yeah. So, well, his shape shifting self is truly back, but it came at a price. Okay. Second gear shift is when Gugu suddenly assumed, when Fushi suddenly became Gugu. Yeah. If that ain't a gear shift to you, I don't know what is. Cause well, without that gear shift, we probably wouldn't know if Gugu survived that heroic act. Nope, didn't make it. And final gear shift is of course when Fushi decided to leave the island for the sake of all the humans inhabiting that island. Para wala nang madamay. Alright? You can now see well, that's an act of compassion on the part of Fushi. He is now fully aware of what compassion means, of what being a hero means. Okay, what heroism actually means. These three gear shifts that I saw, yes, will probably be a factor in later episodes. Probably on the road to the finale. Yeah, he will use these three experiences. He will dig deep into these three experiences later on. That's what I'm seeing here. Now that he's decided to leave the place that has nurtured him for 4 years, made him realize growing pains, made him feel more human and more accepted. All right. I feel so sad right now because probably one of my favorite supporting characters of this spring 2021, is now dead. Okay, it's one of my favorites, Gugu, because well, I think he is probably the first human male to fully accept Gugu as he is, and fully accept Fushi as he is. He even treated him like his own brother. Mas tinato pa nga niyang kapatid si Fushi kaysa sa totoong kapatid niya. You guys have seen it. Pero in one scene when Gugu's body was taken out of the rubble, biglang sumugod yung kuya doon, and wow, you could also feel the older brother's pain. He's probably thinking that, well, I had a hand in this. Kung hindi ako nagloko nun, this is probably what Shin was thinking. Kung hindi ako nagloko nun, malamang hindi namatay ngayon ang kapatid ko. This is arguably the saddest episode of this anime. It topped the episode where March died. It overshadowed that already, because you can actually feel the sadness in this episode. Bumabaha ang kalungkutan sa episode na to. Ako parang affected nga ako ngayon eh. So, To Your Eternity, episode 12. the second half of the run with a character death. Wonderful. Like I said a while ago, Gugu has now become one of my favorite supporting characters from this anime season. And I really thought Gurin is going to last until the end of this anime. I was dead wrong. Kung kailan nagmamabutihan na silang dalawa ni Rin. Kung kailang makakasyota na siya. Despite his hideous appearance. Dito pa nawala si Gugu. And you could see the sadness in Rin's face during that final scene. Talagang umiiyak na siya sa lungkot. Alright? Her boyfriend is gone. And one of her closest friends is now gone. Si Fushi. One of her best friends has now left the place because Fushi felt accountable for Gugu's death. Alright. Wow. I think, yeah, definitely, this is one of the saddest episodes of this anime season. And, well, tapos na nga, matatapos na nga ang Spring 2021 eh. To Your Eternity ended Spring 2021 with this episode. Lungkot. Wow. Affected talaga ako. I'm glad I already finished that cup of coffee, that cup of latte, before I reviewed this one. Hindi, talagang tatagos na rito yan. Yung kalungkutang naramdaman ko sa episode na to. Wow! I think I might not get over this until I see the next episode. Sabi ko sa inyo. So again, To Your Eternity, episode 12. We will miss you, Gugu. Thank you for being a brother to Fushi. Thank you. So next episode has been teasered. Well, in all indications from that, I think Fushi is going through a period of self-pity. But this is just speculation. This is just a speculation of mine. I still don't trust it. So what we're gonna do is wait for the next episode and watch that, so that we can, well, I hope Fushi snaps out of this. Well, in the final scene, you can see his sadness. And I really hope he snaps out of this, because now that he's wandering again, well, he's wide open to enemies now. Yeah, he's now wide open again to enemies now. So while we're waiting for the next episode of To Your Eternity, hope you can enjoy the reviews, the other reviews here, right?
Whoa! Woo! Okay. One of the most shocking finales I've ever seen. Tell you why. Well, Otokawa is being chased by Yano, and of course, the Diamonds. Eventually, nearly the entire Tokyo police force is now after him. He went over this parang overpass, this bridge na hindi pa tapos. Doon na niya nalaman. Sumalpok siya doon sa barricades. Yun, nahulog siya sa tubig. While all this was going on, si Guriki, alam na niya kung ano ang sakit ni Odokawa. It's called visual agnosia with executive dysfunction. Kumbaga, hindi siya life-threatening, but it can permanently impair his cognitive function. Kaya pala, hayop ang tingin niya sa mga tao. You heard me, guys. All the animals all the anthropomorphic characters we see here are all according to Odokawa's brain. Alright? Pero in reality, mga tao sila. Hayop lang talaga, literally, ang tingin sa kanila ni Odokawa, even to himself. Alright? So, what? Eventually, Dobu, Yano, si Sekiguchi, si Yamamoto, and even si Rui, yung tawag dito, yung na-involve sa pagtambak ng bangkay ng original na Mystery Kiss, they were all arrested. Okay? Lahat sila nakakulong, lahat sila na-aresto. Now, this accident that happened to Odokawa, it did more good than bad. Bakit? It completely restored his cognitive function. Kumbaga, his brain is now seeing actual people. Okay? Talagang tao na tingin niya sa mga tao. Okay? So he's fine. Now, final scene. This is where it gets dark. The real killer pala is the one that replaced yung namatay. Siya pala ang totoong pumatay sa babae yun. Siya ang kumbaga, she hops onto Odokawa's taxi at doon nagtapos ang finale. Right? That was disturbing. Right? So, in essence, the real killer of the dead Mystery Kiss girl is still at large. Okay? Eto yun. Yung mismong pumalit sa kanya na yun pala, nag-solo career na. Wow. Okay. Told you guys, it's one of the most shocking finales ever. Right? Grabe ang naging twist. In this finale alone. Overall, like I said again, one of the most shocking finales ever. Pace pa lang. Of course, there was a tense moment kasi hinahabol si Odokawa, tapos yun, biglang nahulog pa siya sa, is that a river or parang sa ilog. He had nowhere else to run. So wala na. He ran out of road. Literally, he ran out of road. That was a very tense moment. Akala ko mamamatay na si Odokawa dito eh. But he was saved by Shirakawa. He was saved by Shirakawa. Then, well, the pacing also made me understand that the aftermath, ayun nga, na-arresto yung mga dapat ma-aresto. Right? And eventually, no more Odokawa doesn't see any animals anymore. Only the real animals. Okay? Yung mga man beasts na nakikita niya, yon, tao na uli sa kanya. Okay? Tao na uli. The pacing made me understand that. And it also made me understand that the real killer is on the loose. Ayun. The final scene, sumakay siya mismo sa taxi ni Odokawa. Ni Odokawa. Right? Grabe. Kung niretain nila yung bilis ng first third of the finale, hindi ba intindihan eh? Oh, okay? The viewers won't understand what is actually going on. Kaya tama lang na medyo binagalan nila yung pacing. Okay? Flow naman. First gear shift is when Goriki, si Dr. Goriki, actually finds out kung ano talagang sakit ni Odokawa. Sinabi ng doktor na umaten nung kay Odokawa ng bata siya. Visual agnosia with executive dysfunction. Right? So, what that means again is kung tao ang kaharap ni Odokawa, he'll see that as something else. So, long term ang impairment nito. Kaya nga executive dysfunction. Okay? It's not life-threatening. Okay? It is not life-threatening. Pero the way his brain interprets things, that will pose a problem. Mabuti nga ano pa siya. No, he cannot gain employment kasi visual agnosia. Okay? Your brain is literally playing tricks on you. So, he had this for the past 30 years. Seeing people as walking animals. Alright? So, ito yung nakikita niya sa key visual. No, that is all in Odokawa's brain. Yung mga nakikita nyo. May talagang mga totoong tao rin ito. Alright, so pinakita rin during the second half of the finale. Kung ano talaga yung mga itsura nila. Itong si Dobo, talagang mukhang police character. talagang mukhang talagang hindi gagawa ng mabuti. Even Yano, talagang mukhang police character sila. Alright? Wow. Final gear shift is when, ayun na. When, I forgot that girl's name. I really forgot that girl's name. Basta, the girl that replaced the dead girl in Mystery Kiss, siya pala talaga ang pumatay. She was the actual killer. Alright? Wow. That was a shocking twist, okay? That was a shocking twist. So, technically, the real killer is still on the loose. Sigurado pinaghahanap pa rin siya ng pulis. Alright? This particular gear shift I saw may be a factor on why Odd Taxi can be back for another season. Kasi this was the biggest question left unanswered. Sino ba talaga pumunta sa babaeng yun? Ayun. Sinabi. Alright? Mukhang hindi siya pinaghinalaan ng mga pulis eh. Ang pinaghinalaan, si Nichikawa at si Nikaido. Silang dalawa. Pero nakakulong din si Nikaido kasi she had a hand in dumping the body. Pinag-chop-chop pa nga nila eh. Pinag-chop-chop pa nila eh. And okay, I'm going to give you a deep dive, all right? I'm going to give you another deep dive later on. Plot-wise, malinis. Wow. The aftermath scenes here were necessary because we have been seeing all these characters as animals. We are actually watching this anime through Odokawa's brain. Kaya, dapat lang na medyo tagalan natin yung mga aftermath scenes para ma-familiarize tayo kung ano talaga ang mga itsura nila. Now that Odokawa is cured of this visual agnosia. Kasi, he had another accident. He had a shockingly identical accident. But this, he survived both accidents. Okay? Magkapareho halos to. Okay? Magkapareho halos ito. He survived both. So, siguro, naratel yung utak niya to to probably where it should be. Those things happen. Those things happen. Okay? So, the plot was still clean. Even though the aftermath scenes were rather long, because you have to understand, mga ka-lifestyle, we have been all too familiar with the animal characters. Yun pala, we are seeing these characters through Odokawa's brain. Alright? So, ayun, nagkamot si Odokawa ng kanyang visual agnosia, everything is back to normal. We can see people again. Pero, I tell you guys, si Dobo at saka si Yano, talagang makamukhang police character talaga eh. You would, if you're a cop, you wouldn't mind arresting, you would have no problem arresting these two. Talagang pagsususpetsahan mo eh. Talagang pagsususpetsahan mo eh. Alright? So, the plot was really clean. Alright? Despite having those long aftermath scenes, yeah, I would say it is still clean. Okay, based on the premise I just repeated over and over. Right? So, pace, flow, and plot, yeah, they all came together in this episode, giving us one of the most shocking, yeah, and probably one of the most satisfying finales ever. Alright? So, hindi ko kakalain na, ganun pala yun. I'm a physical therapy graduate, and this is the first time I've heard such a mental condition, visual agnosia with executive dysfunction. Oh my God, narinig to ah. Nangyayari pala to? I gotta dig deep into this. I really wanna know. Talagang if such a condition exists, alright? So, Odd Taxi finale. Isip-isip pa. 2 thumbs up. Alright. Alright. Here's the deep dive. You know, there's something about Odokawa that binds people together. Okay? There's something about the main protag of this anime that binds the other characters together. Kasi, nearly everybody saw him taking the plunge in the river inside his own taxi. Right? Kasi hinahabol nga siya nila Yano eh. Right? Nearly everybody saw it. Lahat ng characters na kumunik kay Odokawa, they all saw it. It's probably symbolic of the fact of how valuable Odokawa's job is to society. Right? He is a taxi driver. Okay? Yun nga lang, may visual agnosia, so he sees everybody as animals. Yun nga lang. But he can still function as a taxi driver because when it comes to inanimate objects, his mind seemingly doesn't play tricks on him. He sees objects as objects. Okay? He sees objects as objects. Okay, so, imagine if this were given another season, and based on the final scene, this girl gets psychotic with Odokawa and kills him. No? That would make a great season 2 for Odd Taxi. If Odokawa himself dies. But that's the biggest question left unanswered here, mga ka-lifestyle. The real killer is on the loose. And it is this girl na sumakay lang ngayon kay Odokawa. Alright? Now either she kills Odokawa, or Odokawa recognizes her. Or Odokawa retains a visual memory of her face. Right? Kasi sinabi ni Shirakawa na baka tanongin din siya ng mga police regarding this case, because he is a taxi driver. Okay, well, Yamamoto and Nikaido were both his former passengers. So talagang tatanungin siya talaga ng mga police, right? And wow, okay, I can't believe this anime is over. Personally, it deserves another season. Okay? It deserves another season. Kasi, hindi ko akalain ganun na magiging ending eh. Na, ganun, na meron palang condition, na meron palang mental condition na ganito. That you would see humans as animals. Alright? Yung palang visual agnosia. But I'll have to research on that, okay? This is, we're talking about mental health here, so I really gotta dig deep on how this condition actually does business to your brain, okay? On how it actually monkey wrenches your brain, so to speak. All right? Wow. All right? It deserves another season of Taxi. All right? It deserves another season. Because we need to know, we need to see if this girl is going to get caught, and Otokawa will be the one to rat her out. Yun ang gusto kong makita. If ever OLM and Pix come together again for season 2 of this anime. So again, Odd Taxi finale. 2 thumbs up.
A shockingly good 2 thumbs up, mga ka-lifestyle.
So, wala na nga pala teaser. The anime ended with that disturbing final scene. And the revelation itself, yeah, it was really dark. Talagang pinakita yung pinakita yung actual niyang pagpatay doon sa babae. Tama yung sabi ng forensics, death by strangulation. Talagang inipit niya sa lubid yung leeg. Grabe. So, I am hoping that Odd Taxi comes back for another season, because I really want to know how Otokawa was going to catch this killer. Right? Well, he's taken down the Yakuza. Okay, he's taken down the Yakuza. And of course, he finds out that, well, the Yakuza is, well, Dobo and Yano has the same boss. Yun pala, yun ang benefactor niya. Na nakausap niya in one scene in this finale. Wow. So, abangers na lang. Abangers na lang if for news regarding Odd Taxi. Okay? For Odd Taxi getting another season. Alright? So, in the meantime, enjoy the other reviews, guys. Wow! Wow! Right. So, natuloy pa rin the duel between Maeda and Kurusu. Wow! Grabe. Although, it was really hard to watch. Okay? It was really hard to watch. In the end, Kurusu kills Maeda. Okay? He kills Maeda in the very same spot na namatay si Misaki during the pilot. In that exact same spot. Right? Kurusu just planted Maeda with his own samurai dun sa spot na yun. Tumama ang araw. Maeda is disintegrated. Alright? Pero he was badly injured. Humingi siya ng dugo kay Aoi, yung journalist. Yung pala ano pala niya to? Girlfriend niya. Okay? Girlfriend niya to. So, humingi siya ng... Well, it's the first time that Kurusu actually drinks real blood. Totoong dugo ng tao. So, ganap na siyang vampire ngayon. Alright? So his last, just in time, because the remainder of Rufus's vampire unit papunta na sa kanya. Ayun, hinarap niya. Now, the aftermath, what? Final scene. Okay? The entire aftermath is the final scene kasi talagang sa ikli niya. It just showed us where everybody's at right after that. Awi nag-alay siya ng bulaklak dun sa point of death ni Maeda tsaka ni Misaki. Nag-alay siya ng bulaklak dun. Then everybody else is just picking up the pieces. Well, Suwa is now in America. Okay, natuloy sila. He's now in America. Then, well, who to close the entire series? Si Defot pa. And it just explained that every human has his role to play in his entire lifetime. Pero, in essence, he was telling the viewer that vampires are above all that. So, yeah, basically. Pero, ang nakapagtataka doon, bakit walang pinakitang aftermath for Kurusu? Alright? We now don't know kung ano nangyari sa kanya. If his last stand, did he survive his last stand? Kasi dami. Ang dami nun. Okay? These are programmed brutes who will kill any vampire in sight. Okay? So, talagang hinarap niya. It was basically his last stand. Did he survive? So, we don't know. Okay, we don't know. Overall, yeah, it's a really good finale. But, yeah, you can already list that as one of the best. Right? Kasi, the duel between Maeda and Kurusu, that was for me, it was really hard to watch. This was a fight between superior versus subordinate. Alright? Pace pa lang. Yeah. It is the final battle. Unfortunately, it's not against the boss villain, but against one of their own. Their former commanding officer, si Colonel Maeda. Kasi rogue vampire na siya rito eh. Naging rogue vampire na siya. He has no clear sense of purpose na. Basta makakita siya ng vampire, papatay niya. So, Kurusu has no choice but to neutralize Maeda. Okay? So the pace really made me understand kung gaano kabigat ang labang ito kay Kurusu. Kasi, Kurusu considers Maeda a mentor kasi commanding officer niya to eh. Commanding officer niya to. And, Maeda took him in when, he got, kinuha siya for Code Zero ni Maeda when Maeda wasn't a vampire yet. Pure human pa siya. Okay? Pure human pa siya. And, wow. Okay? The pacing of this finale, it really made me watch with a heavy heart. Ganun yung dating sa akin eh. Right? It was reasonably fast kasi we all know how vampires fight in Mars Red. Sa sobrang bilis, the naked eye cannot catch it to see who's winning or losing. Ganong kabilis makipagbakbakan sa isa't isa ang mga vampire. Okay? Then, flow naman. Well, of course, first gear shift was Kurusu reading reading Maeda the vampire version of the Miranda rights. Right? 1. And 2. Bigla na lang umano na. Sumugod na si Maeda. Wala. Okay. No more vampire rights for you. Right? Second gear shift is when, ayun, Kurusu kills Maeda in probably the most honorable way possible. Talagang hindi niya, well, although he did cut Maeda's hand off. Okay? So, kumbaga, well, he plants Maeda on the spot where Misaki died. Doon mismo. Ayun. Tapos nung lumabas ang araw, yun, tinamaan si Maeda. Sunog. Okay? Disintegrated. For a vampire, that's an honorable death. Okay, that's an honorable death, especially for a soldier like Maeda. Okay, he would rather have that. He would rather die that way than get his head cut off. Okay, than get his head cut off. So, final gear shift is when quickly after the second one, nung hinarap na ni Kurusu yung remainder ng vampire unit ni Rufus. Kasi they have no master to control them. They have no master calling the shots na eh. So, basta na lang sila. Pukpuk dito, pukpuk doon, basta vampire. Right? And I don't know why Kurusu still read them their rights. Alright? Pero, that's siguro out of habit na lang. You can't blame Kurusu kasi he is a soldier after all. He is a soldier. So, wow. Right? Those 3 gear shifts I saw practically dictated the finale. Okay? It practically dictated the finale. Plot naman, malinis. Alright? Malinis. Even though there were there wasn't, even though the final scene was what's you call this, a condensed, or composed of condensed aftermath scenes, okay lang kasi they got that over and done with eh. So they now move to Defraud's parting words. Right? Talagang malinis yung plot. Right? Talagang yung focus ng viewer tawag dito, kumbaga ibinaling na dun sa laban nila Maeda at Kurusu. Right? And well, making us think that this is crucial, but no. Right? Kurusu did what he had to do as a member of Code Zero. Well, as the yeah, you can say that, as the acting commander of Code Zero. As the acting commander. Siya na lang ang natira eh. Maeda has gone rogue. Si Yamagami naman patay na. Right? And General Nakajima is incarcerated. So, who to lead Code Zero than him? Pero, he did not perform his function. What you call this? He did not actually perform his function kasi nagkanya-kanya na sila eh. Okay? Nagkanya-kanya na sila. So, yeah, he did what he had to do. Kaya, malinis ang plot. Kaya doon talaga, ako personally, doon na-focus yung attention ko. It made me deep dive into that. Okay? Sabi ko sa inyo, matindi ang deep dive factor din ng Mars Red eh. Right? So, pace, flow, and plot, yup. They all came together in this finale. I almost did not distinguish one from the other. Seamless, kumbaga. It was an absolutely seamless finale. You can say that it's also one of the best this spring 2021. Talagang you would actually feel sorry for Maeda. Right? for resorting to such unorganized action, for going rogue. Tapos, in the end, pinatay siya ng sarili niya subordinate, si Kurusu. Okay? Who had to be left behind para so that he can deal with Maeda himself. Okay? Yeah. This was one of the toughest finales to watch in in the past year that I've been reviewing animes. This was one of the toughest finales to watch. Okay? So, Mars Red finale. Kasi 2 thumbs up, syempre. 2 thumbs up. Now, let's form some conspiracy theories about this anime's future. Okay. Kurusu's aftermath wasn't wasn't highlighted here. So it's now up in the air as to what happened to him after that last stand he did against Rufus's vampire unit. Okay. And basing on what Defrost said in the final scene, mukhang hindi pa tapos ito. Okay. It's a good indication that Mars Red can be back for another season. Kasi, well, I've already raised 2 questions that were left unanswered. What did Defrost actually mean by what he said? Yung we are about what you call this? We are above all that. Basically, he's basically talking about vampires. On how, excuse me, will Code Zero be accepted again as the premier vampire unit by the Japanese government? Yeah, those are the questions you should ask if to form a baseline if Mars Red deserves another season or not. For me, I'm not putting my hopes up for this anime if it's going to return for another season. Okay, but if you ask me, it deserves another season. Total mga vampire na silang lahat eh. Okay? Mga vampire na silang lahat. They can Code Zero can reunite for another mission, whether as a sanctioned body again or as vigilantes. Right? Kasi wala na rin chumicheck sa mga kapwa nila vampire. It's probably up to them now to police their own ranks. Ang Code Zero. So Signal MD can now bank on that. But depending on how the Mars Red manga will go, of course. Okay? So if you ask me, guys, yeah, it deserves another season, but I'm not going to keep my hopes up. Okay? Whether it's going to be in the near future or sooner than we think. Basta, ang akin, Mars Red deserves another season. Okay? You gotta admit, it's one of the most underrated animes this season. So, and with a finale like that will leave some questions behind. Siguro dapat may season 2 to. So again, Mars Red finale. 2 thumbs up. thank you, Mars Red. 2 thumbs up. Lifestyle. So, well, that's it for Mars Red. For now, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to keep tabs on this anime if it's going to have another season. All right. So for now, enjoy the other reviews. Impressive. I'm gonna tell you why. What? The newest member of Yo's Inner Circle has just introduced himself. Si Lizard Detail. Yan. Okay. He's a British kid. Okay. Much in the mold of Sherlock Holmes. Kumbaga, the original Sherlock Holmes, ganun ang get up niya. He has this really really strange but very European shamanic power. Yung kanyang pendulum. Right? Pendulum power siya. He tried to make strong allies with Yo and company his own way. Pero pwede ba yun? Can you force people to become your allies? Sorry, Lizard, that's not how the world works. So yun. Yo taught him a lesson. Okay? So, well, eventually naging kakampi na rin niya dito si Lizard. Alright? Kasi they have they got a common enemy. Guess who? No, of course he learned this lesson. Okay? Pinaintindi rin sa kanya nila rin. Right? Pero yun, nagkaano pala sila. They talked it over, ayun, nagkakwentuhan. Yung apat, wala si ano eh. Alam na rin ni Yo. Alam ni rin ni Yo na pinatay ni How ang mga magulang ni Lizard. So, like he said in his last appearance in this episode, he will not forgive How for what he did. Okay? Final scene. We're back in Izumo, Japan. So, pinatawag ng lolo ni Yo si Ana. Then they're coming down this dark staircase. Ipapakita ng lolo ni Yo kay Ana kung ano yung pinaka itinatagong sikreto ng kanilang pamilya. Okay? The Asakura family's best kept, darkest secret. Alright? So, his name is Asakura How. Looks like the pieces are falling together. Right? Business has just picked up. Overall, it's a really good episode. Right? Pace. Okay? Tama-tama lang yung pace kasi basically Lizard went gung-ho on the 4. Si Yo, si Ryunosuke, Ren, at si Horo-Horo. Ang napuro niya, yung huling dalawang binanggit ko. Si Ren at si Horo-Horo. Right? Yun ang muntik na mapuruhan. Well, Yo basically said, okay, may kalalagyan ka sa akin. Right? That was he essentially said. Okay? I will make you know your place. Alright? So, yun. Just proves na Lizard's shamanic powers are not that strong yet. May kilalagyan siya kay Yo lang in just one blow eh. He actually used his finishing move, Big Ben. Kumbaga, hinabi niya yung pendulum niya, forming the iconic clock tower of London. Okay? London's most iconic clock, one of the world's most iconic clock towers. Yan, Big Ben. At yun ipang didiktik niya kayo. But, Yo just showed him what a real shaman looks like. So yun. Talo. Okay, talo siya. So the pacing was really good. Fast but not well, doesn't have to be bloody kasi we're not dealing with how here. So hindi naman kailangan eh. Right? Just a little reality check to Lizard. Then, it became slow but delightful. Bakit? Kasi, everybody's having lunch together and eventually, pinasabi na ni Yo na isama na natin ang mokong na to. Isama na natin ang mokong na to. Total, isang kaaway natin ngayon, si How. Alright, so, if he cannot exact revenge on his own if How is his target. Impossible. Okay? Impossible. So, may point si Yo rito. Okay? Hindi mo kaya Lizard on your own. Kahit kami. Well, although yeah, How cheap-shotted Horo. Talaga magagalit si Yo. Talaga iinit ang ulo niya. Iinit talaga ang ulo nun. So, the pacing was really good. Okay? It was really good. Flow naman. Well, first gear shift is of course when Lizard introduced himself. Right? Kasi palisan rin sila Yo and well, Ren has just designated Yo as the team leader. Ang ganda nga na. It's a real funny scene, alright? Ini-explain ni Ren kung bakit hindi niya ginawa sarili niya as leader. Alright? Ito namang si Horo at Ryunosuke, sinabi nila, ayaw nga namin ikaw leader namin. Ang asan talaga, alright? Ang asan. Basta involved if it's between between Ren and Horo talaga ang asan yan. Alright? This is what makes Shaman King a joy to watch. I really get a kick out of seeing Horo and Ren jaw at each other. Kahit na original series pa. Alright? It's wow. Hindi mapipilit ka talaga tumawa kaysa sa angasan nilang dalawa. Tapos sisigundahin pa ni Ryunosuke. Sisigundahin pa si Horo. Right? So that's the first gear shift. If it weren't for siguro Lizard stepping in, introducing himself, we wouldn't have that funny scene. We wouldn't have that funny scene. Okay? Second gear shift is of course when, well, reality check for Lizard. Yep. Yo showed him how a true shaman does business. Yan. Okay? Talagang pinakita ni Yo rito yung angas niya bilang shaman. Do not in a simple lesson from this simple moral lesson from this episode. All right, we got from this because of this gear shift, we really learned from it. Mess with Yo's friends and you will bring out the worst in Yo. You bring out his worst. Yun lang yun. You'll be put in your place. And Lizard learned it the hard way. So that kaya siya pumayag na rin siya na isama siya. All right? That was a really cool gear shift. Final gear shift came when the camera panned to a tree and someone was spying on Yo. Okay? Yung pala, espiya pala ng lolo niya yun. Kasi, syempre, nag-iisang apo. Okay? Nag-iisang apo. Kaya, the head of the Asakura family is, he is deeply concerned. Nalaman pala niya that How is on the loose na. So, nag-report sa kanya yung espiya. Now, if it weren't for that gear shift, we wouldn't get a really dark final scene. Because of that, what he learned from the spy, doon niya pinatawag si Ana. So, yan. Sabi niya, it's about time you learn the Asakura family secret. Ano kaya secret? At kapangalan ba ni How, ha? Kapangalan ba ni How? What the hell? These 3 gear shifts that I just observed in this episode, yeah, definitely will play roles in future episodes. Para nakikita ko na kung anong mangyayari dito because like I told you guys, I've already seen the original series all those years ago. Wow. Okay, pero I assure you, the reboot is way better. Bakit? Kasi talagang sinusundan niya ang manga. Right? Sinusundan niya ang manga. There were some scenes here in this episode that I really could not recall. Right? There were some scenes in this episode that I really could not recall in the original series. Talagang, wow. This is better. The reboot is better. So, plot-wise, yeah, malinis. Alright? Hindi sila, Studio Bridge did not wallow in Lizard's backstory as to why he's doing all this. Right? Quick but impactful. Right? Quick but impactful backstory ang ginawa nila rito. Talagang you would really hate How even more. Kasi 1992 pa lang gumagalaw na pala demonyong ito. 1992 pa lang gumagalaw na ang demonyong ito. Right? Based on what Lizard has deduced, he's looking for followers even way back when. So tinanong pa nga niya kay Rene, if he were looking for followers, why didn't he recruit you, Ren? Kung malalakas na followers ang point kasi ni Lizard, kung malalakas na followers ang hinahanap niya, ayan, si Ren. Si Horo-Horo. Okay, wag na si Ryunosuke. Okay, si Ren, si Horo-Horo. Even what, ang una pa niyang ni-recruit sa team na to, si Yo. Ang una pa niyang iniinganyo. Right? Magkamukha sila ni Yo, di ba? But I am going to tell you later on why. And I already know why because I've been telling you countless times, mga ka-lifestyle, I've already seen the original series. And that was decades ago. Alright? So, the plot, malinis. Talagang ipinokus niya ang, what you call this? Ang drive for vengeance ni Lizard. But who was there to shoot him down? Si Yo. Si Yo pa mismo. Alright? Sabi ko, ikaw nga siguro ni Yo. How is the devil incarnate? And you're going after him yourself? You're going after him by yourself? You're out of your fucking mind, mate. Because Lizard is British. Ginanong ko lang, alright? You're out of your fucking mind! Okay? Well, ikaw siguro niyo, sama ka na muna sa amin. Alright? Wag ka na muna maghiganti. Alright? Lizard will probably have his day. So in the meantime, enjoy the journey. Parang ganun ang gusto kong iparating ni Yo kay Lizard eh. And the plot made me realize that. Okay? It was so clean. Okay? It made me realize that that deep dive. Okay? It made me realize that deep dive. Right? Kaya another great episode from this reboot. Okay? If you ask about me, if you compare this reboot to the Higurashi reboot, ganun na sila eh. Right? Nagaganunan. Right? So, Shaman King 2021 episode 14. 2 thumbs up. Thumbs up yan. Wow. Right? Yo's inner circle, yeah, it's growing, right? Here's the difference between Yo's inner circle and Hao's inner circle, okay? Yung kay Hao muna. Yung kay Hao muna pag-usapan natin. Hao basically is looking for shamans who can be subservient to him. Right? Who already see him as the king, as the Shaman King. So yeah, basically yeah, he's looking for followers, not allies. Yung kay Yo naman, he didn't tell these people na, he doesn't tell these other shamans na, oh, ako na lang sundin nyo, ako magiging Shaman King dito. No. He respects their views and goals that they don't want to be the Shaman King. Yeah, nire-respeto niya 'yon. So habang wala pa yung ang point niya kasi wala pa yung araw na 'yon. Let's hang out. Okay? Maging barkada tayo. Let's be friends. So, that's his way of increasing his inner circle, which is the right thing, which is the right way of doing it. Okay? Tama yung diskarte ni Yo dito. Now, for how that inner circle of whatever inner circle he is forming right now, it's not going to last. I tell you, right? It is not going to last. So, mas matibay ang magiging samahan ng inner circle ni Yo. Okay, Ren has already submitted to Yo being the leader. Alright? Alam naman nating lahat na arrogante ito. Okay? He has his own brand of arrogance, si Ren. Pero for someone as arrogant as Ren to submit to Yo's leadership, that means something. It means only one thing. Yo is forming his inner circle the right way. Okay? Because he has earned Ren's trust and respect. Kaya maganda magiging takbo ng reboot na to. Right? And we also get to deep dive. Pero wala kasi masyadong deep dive sa sa original series. Pero dito, namumukad ka na tayo sa deep dive dito. So far it's been fun reviewing this it's been fun reviewing the Shaman King reboot. Talagang enjoy ako. So again, Shaman King 2021 episode 14. 2 thumbs up. A satisfying 2 thumbs up, mga ka-lifestyle. So, title of the next episode has been teasered. Mukhang magagamit yung pagiging detective ni ni Lizard. After all, he's the son of the world's greatest detective. Okay? Who is also a shaman. Who was also a shaman. Kasi lahat naman sila eh. Lahat naman ng mga characters sa Shaman King na shaman, they all came down from a long line of shamans. Well, probably with the exception of Ryunosuke. Okay? Who probably is the first shaman in his family. Okay, so that's the first family. But anyway, I don't want to trust the title of the next episode. Abangan na natin the next episode. And for you guys, enjoy the other reviews in this digest, because we're about to say goodbye. Through this digest, we are saying goodbye to spring 2021. Wow! Right? Well, basically, its bottom line here is that famous Japanese legend about Peach Boy, right? Gave us it's a total, based on the pilot, it's a total what if, right? Which makes it really unique. So this girl named Sally what's called this? Helped out a demi-human girl named ano pangalan nun? Punta ko na. The demi-human girl's name is Frau. Alright? So, Sally and Frau go on a journey together. Well, we now know it's a fact in this world that demi-humans are hated. So, kumbaga, they're the closest thing to monsters daw. But, the way Frau protects Sally, nope, you wouldn't think about that anyway. You wouldn't think about that anymore. Alright? So, well, Sally's met some friends along the way. Of course, si Hawthorne, yung knight, right? Who mistakenly arrested them, gave them a tour of the city. Then, all of a sudden, two ogres showed up at the gate of that city. One pulled out this laser beam from her eye. Wasak yung pader. Okay, that's a thick wall. Okay, that's a thick wall. Judging from the hole she made, yung ano ng loob, kapal. Okay, makapal na pader yun. Then this walrus-looking ogre named Seth, siya na mismong pumasok. While Seth was attacking the city, si Sally unang sumugod. Then, of course, what you call this? As protection, sumugod din si Frau. Si Frau lang humarap. Then, Frau's getting her ass kicked. Then, Sally comes along again. So, ayun. Doon nakita ngayon yung kanyang OP. Yung kanyang pagka-OP. Right? This anime can be really violent. Okay? Itong si Seth, may mga napatay ring gwardiya to. Oops. Blood spatters all over the place. Right? And, wow, nakakatakot pala. Sally goes psycho on this guy. Right? Unknowingly releases her power. Ayun. Naputo niya yung braso ng ogre na yun. So that's the final scene. Actually, that was the final scene. So yun, opening credits na ng anime na to. Alright? Kaya ako napawaw sa pilot nito. Overall, yeah, it's a really good pilot. At first, because of the pacing, at first talagang madjudge mo na nako, bagal nito. Parang ayo. I almost gave up watching this pilot. Right? I almost gave up watching this pilot kasi sabi ko, yeah, demi-human kills an ogre just to protect Sally. Seen that before. Then, ayun nga, when Sally met Seth loses his arm. Right? That's when the pace really picked up. Nung hinarap na mismo ni Sally itong Seth na to. The walrus-looking ogre. Alright? That's when the pace really picked up. But all throughout, it was, well, yeah, dead slow. Alright? So, from dead slow to reasonably fast, you can see that the pacing was well thought of. And it was yeah, organized. Okay, the pacing was organized, okay? Flow naman. Well, first gear shift I saw here was when Frau killed another ogre that looks like a chicken. Okay? It looks like a chicken. Looks like an overgrown chicken. Pero, kaya nalaman nilang ogre, may horn, may sungay siya rito. Right? Every ogre has a horn. Alright? Yun ang telltale sign na ogre yung kalaban mo. So, Frau instantly kills this ogre. Right? Inaxe kick pa eh. So just goes to show you how powerful an ally Frau is. Kumbaga, she has declared herself as Sally's official bodyguard. Based on what she calls carrot debt. There's nothing wrong, okay? There's nothing wrong with repaying a debt. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But carrot debt, is there such a thing? But anyway, I found it cool. Okay, I found it cool. This gear shift. Second gear shift is when they were arrested. All right, it's when they were arrested. Well, medieval era. So ang itsura ng mga posas malaki. 2 boards. Nakaganon siya. All right. Now, if it weren't for that gear shift, they wouldn't have met Hawthorne. Yung isa nilang makakasama based on the opening credits, okay? They wouldn't have met Hawthorne. Right. So final gear shift is of course when Sally herself faced that ogre, yung mukhang walrus, si Seth. And all of a sudden she goes psycho OP. Right? She goes OP psycho on this creature. Hindi lang basta hawing ginawa niya, talagang pinutulan niya ng braso yung ogre. Talagang pinutulan niya ng braso. Wow. Grabe. Okay? These 3 gear shifts will probably play a role in future episodes of this anime. Right? Mind you guys, this is just the pilot. Okay? So, plot naman. Malinis. Right? So, there were no sleeper moments. There were no shenanigans. No shenanigans happened in this pilot. Talagang yung journey nila Sally at Frau, talagang doon talaga nakafocus yung istorya ng pilot. Okay, and they are meeting friends along the way. One of them is Hawthorne. Right? And if it weren't for the plot, we wouldn't be recalling this famous Japanese legend about Peach Boy. Okay, kaya nga Peach Boy Riverside. So the big what if here is this: what if Peach Boy was not the only one found on that river? Okay, what if there are many Peach Boys that were floating along that river? Big conspiracy theory. All right, so that's where the story got really interesting. Okay, so Peach Boy is Makoto. Yun ang name niya rito, si Makoto. Whom Sally is following. Kasi during her childhood yata nakita niya in action itong si Makoto. Talagang pumapatay, talagang ogre killer ito. Talagang he's a certified ogre killer. He hunts down ogres. She probably wants to learn from Makoto. That's why she is looking desperately for him. Hence, she started this journey. It's the fuel for her journey. Makita lang uli si Makoto. Right? Now, the one in the black hair right here in the key visual, katabi ni Sally. Yan. Sally is the one with the knife. Yan. He is the legendary Peach Boy in Japanese legends. So talagang based on the legend, after he did kill the ogre that was plaguing his area, but he thought marami pang ogres dyan sa paligid. So he set off a journey across the sea to kill these ogres naman, to hunt down these ogres. Alright, so that's the basis of this anime storyline, which got covered in that final scene alone. So that's what the plot made us realize. Okay, so based flow and plot really came together for this pilot. Okay? Kaya masasabi mo na, well, there is something to look forward to. Okay? The big what if in that famous Japanese legend. Alright? So, Beach Boy Riverside, episode 1. Yeah. One thumb up lang. Alright? Bakit? What? I wasn't actually convinced with the opening half of the episode. Right? Parang for me it was just a regular journey. It was just a regular journey. I've seen anime start like this before. Right? But not this late. But not this late. Okay? What do I mean by that? Kasi pinakita na lang yung origin ng journey ni Sally as a flashback moment. The moment she saw Makoto in action, just actually killing ogres in front of her. Right? Pinakita lang na saglit yon. So, I wish Silverlink is the animation studio, okay? I wish Silverlink could have started this pilot with that scene. Then, sabihin na natin na, few months later or several months later, okay lang yun. At least, we now know kung ano pinaghuhugutan ni Sally. Right? Establish na maigi ang pinaghuhugutan niya. You get what I'm saying, mga ka-lifestyle? You get what I'm saying? That was the origin of her motivation for this journey. Silverlink could have started the pilot with that scene. Ba? They could have started the pilot with that particular scene. Then, explain nila na several months later, she went on this journey. Or, they could have shown a scene that she was preparing for this journey. Yon, pwede yon. Mas okay yon, mas cool yon. But no they started the pilot with one of the main protags already on her journey. So, sabi ko, parang may mali rito Parang may mali Alright? Probably they were reserving the showing of her true powers in the final scene. Maybe they have the final scene in mind. I don't know. But nevertheless, it still deserves a high rating, like the 1 thumb up. Right? Because wow, okay. I was really impressed with the latter with the latter third of this pilot. I was really impressed kasi doon talaga in-explain the legend of Peach Boy. If you can research online on the legend of that legend of Peach Boy. Okay? There is a Japanese legend about there is a legend in Japan about that. Okay? Kaya it was a great pilot, but I was not satisfied with how the first half of the episode ran. How the episode started. Okay? How the pilot started. They should have started this pilot with that origin story. With that origin story of Sally, on how she was inspired by Makoto to take on this journey. Yun na maganda. And saglit na pinakita si Makoto in action Bitin. Right? So again, Peach Boy Riverside, episode 1. Ang thumb up lang. But it's a good enough 1 thumb up, mga ka-lifestyle. So, wow. Title of the next episode has been teasered. I couldn't trust the title. Okay, especially this early in an anime's run. So, what do? The usual. You take the usual steps. Wait for next week, watch the episode, and deep dive into that. First and foremost, welcome back, Higurashi. Alright, so, we're basically back to where we started. June 10, 1983. And it's all because of Satoko. Right? Alright. She starts off the darkness, so to speak, by injecting a sample of Hinamizawa syndrome kay Rena habang natutulog yata ito sa clinic. So, kasi meron yatang nangyari sa kanya. It is actually carrying over where the finale left off actually. Tandaan nyo, nung finale ng season 1, meron nila ako si Satoko na parang case that has a sample of the Hinamizawa syndrome virus nakalagay sa isang hiringgilya. It's encased in a syringe. She injected Rena with that syringe. Kaya ito, Rena's thinking evil things for her father, who went well, actually Rena's parents went through a cruel divorce. As a result, well, nagwalwal ang father ni Rena, well, which upsets Rena a lot. Okay? Ito ang nag-trigger sa kanyang Hinamizawa syndrome. She starts scratching like that. Ugh, okay? That disturbing neck scratch. Yep, it is back, folks. It is fucking back. You know when something's going to happen if any of the lead characters start scratching their neck like that. Okay? Kaya nga, welcome back, Higurashi. Final scene. Well, alam na ni Rena kung sino ang bagong babae ng airpat niya. It happens to be a whore. Na, well, pinagkakwartahan ng ginagawang ATM. Basically, ang father niya. So, she now quietly storms out of the cafe wherein nandun din yung pero hindi alam ng babaeng ito na nandun din si Rena. So Rena quietly storms out of the cafe and just starts scratching her neck like that, like crazy yan. As anybody afflicted with Hinamizawa syndrome would do. Ba? Ganun. Sabi niya, I have to work harder. I have to work harder. I have to work harder. Woo! Puta! That was disturbing. Alright? Wow! Overall, I am rather disappointed at this pilot by Higurashi. Right? I could not say it's an auspicious return, but let's do this ARD style, right? Pace. Well, typical Higurashi pace, right? So, andun yung the slowness that is vintage Higurashi, yung tipong merong mangyayari kaya kumapit ka na sa upuan mo. Parang ganun alright? The pace is there. Okay? It was properly paced. Flow naman. What? First gear shift there was when I saw the opening scene when Satoko reaffirmed her quest. Okay, her quest of making Rika's life a living hell. Alright, that was the opening scene. Okay, that's the first gear shift. Second gear shift is when, well, she sets her plan into motion. Yung kinuha niyang casing na merong syringe full of the Hinamizawa syndrome virus, ayun, ginamit niya kay Rena. Of course, Rena doesn't know it because she's in a deep sleep. Tulog na tulog. So, sinamantala ni Satoko. Tinurok. Right? So, instantly, the virus goes to work. Final gear shift is when, Rena discovers that, their bank accounts nearly gone to zero. Yung settlement money na binigay sa kanila ng nanay niya for the divorce. So, ayun, medyo naging tense na. Alright? The main symptom of Hinamizawa syndrome showed itself. Ganun siya na ganun. Puta, sabi ko. The virus is starting to kick in. Welcome back, Higurashi. So yeah, that was the final gear shift. All right. If this is Satoko's idea of hell, we're probably in for we're probably experiencing darkness for the next 14 episodes. Yup, folks, you heard me. Higurashi Sotso will be just a 15 episode run. It's not like the previous season of 24. Nope. 15 lang po ngayon. Right? And they will probably be focusing on this disease called Hinamizawa syndrome. Right? Make it close to reality as possible. Alright? So, plot naman. Planchado. Alright? Planchado. Kasi, you wouldn't call it clean kasi it took scenes from the pilot. It also carried over from the finale of season 1. Higurashi 2020, ha? Higurashi 2020. I'm gonna remind you mga ka-lifestyle. Higurashi Sotsu is season 2 of Higurashi 2020. Okay? Let's be clear on that. So, when I say season 1, it's Higurashi 2020. So, wow. Right? So, but they organize it in such a way that it becomes an entirely different story. Alam naman natin lahat on how Higurashi runs. Alternate. Infinite possibilities loop siya parati. Right? But you remember you remember the prank Satoko pulled on Keiichi in the pilot? Yup. Inulit din nila dito. Eksaktong ganun. Alright? Eksaktong ganun. So, I could not say that the plot is clean or malinis. But it is organized enough to retain the dark, disturbing nature of this anime franchise. Alright? So far, if you're a true Higurashi fan, you won't be disappointed. Okay, you won't be disappointed that much with the anime, with the pilot of season 2, right? So yeah, pace, flow, and plot, really came together, Higurashi style, right? Yep. Prepare to get traumatized again. So, Higurashi Sotsu episode 1. Sorry. One thumb up. Bakit? What? I told you that there was that they repeated the prank scene in the pilot of season 1. Yeah, that was the episode's sleeper moment for me. I actually was doing this. I actually felt my head was like this. Tapos nagising na ako bigla. Nakatulog ako. Wow. Alright. And also, there was another sleeper moment when Rika pulled a prank on Satoko, yung punching ball na ganon. Yeah. They repeated that as well. Nakatulog din ako sa scene na yun. Alright. I never expected Higurashi to have not one but two sleeper moments in its pilot. The season 1 pilot, I had no sleeper moments in that pilot. Okay? There were a lot of WTF moments in the season 1 pilot. Okay? So, yeah, that lowered the rating. That lowered the rating for me. If they treated those scenes as different, they would or if they picked up the pace on both a little bit, I probably wouldn't doze off. Right? But those two scenes are relevant kasi it's telling us that where Satoko is going to start her plan of her evil plan of making her own best friend's life a living hell, like she promised in the finale of season 1. That was disturbing. Okay, a kid like that, tapos pulang matang ganun, no? Sa opening scene sa pilot na to. That was fucking disturbing. But those two sleeper moments, yeah, really lowered the rating. When I was watching the final scene, I thought, siguro dapat ito thumbs up ko na to. I should disregard the sleeper moments, but nope. If they picked up the pace a little bit for those, if they picked up the pace a little bit for those two particular scenes, I might not have dozed off. Kasi I'm very sure other Higurashi fans have seen that episode. Kasi yung isa, it's from the season 1 pilot. Yung isa naman, it's from an episode where I think where Satoko actually broke down, yung talagang humagulgol sa iyak. I remember that episode. That was episode I think episode 7 of season 1, parang ganun. I think it was episode 7. Nung nalaman na inaabuso siya ng uncle niya. So lumabas yung pagla-lash out niya, right? I remember that scene. Okay? I remember that scene so well. Satoko's mere crying is disturbing already, okay? Yung pag-iyak niyang yun, that was disturbing. So, I have to be objective. Even though I am now a fan of Higurashi, I have to be objective with my review. So, these two particular scenes that became sleeper moments for me, yes, that lowered the rating. But I'm sure, okay? I'm sure that Higurashi will bounce back from this, like they always do, like they did in season. I actually gave one of the episodes of season 1 this, then it bounced back big time. Well, they can do that again, okay? I'm rather confident in them doing that again, okay? Okay, magkalala. It's just the pilot, all right? Episode 1 pa lang tayo. We still have 14 episodes to go, okay? So again, Higurashi Sotsu episode 1. One thumb up. An objective one thumb up, mga ka-lifestyle. So in typical Higurashi fashion, title of the next episode has been teasered. Mini arc pala to. Okay. So, in this case, you have to trust the teaser. Okay? Kasi it is part 1 lang pala to ng isang mini arc. it's vintage Higurashi, right? So let's just trust the title of the teaser, wait for next week, and watch it. I'm sure this anime will bounce back, alright? Don't worry. Basta panoorin na natin next week, okay?
Wow! Right. Wow. Okay. Well, basically, it's the first meeting of the anime's two main protags, Noi and Vanitas himself. They met in rather strange circumstances because Noi was actually helping out this young lady who, later on in the episode, turns out to be a vampire, right? A vampire born under a crimson moon. Okay, so there's this disease going around, and it only hits vampires, right? And ito pala ang quest ni Vanitas. Okay, using the book of Vanitas as his tool, he is able to cure the lady vampire by making her remember her true name. Okay, now here's how the true name works. Alam na natin lahat na ang mga vampire immortal yan. So I think it's important for the vampires of this anime to remember their true name. Okay, it still gives them a sense of both their identity and their sanity, right? And this particular disease targets their true name. Yeah, you should have. Well, if you haven't seen the episode, you should see that scene wherein, wow, that lady vampire spills out black tears, and those, when the black tears are in, well, she's now surrounded by a pool of black tears. That's when those tentacles come out and basically grabs humans for her to feed on. And Noi, the vampire that he is, he knows all too well that vampires in this era are prohibited from attacking humans, and the disease is actually making her do this. So in comes Vanitas, he cures her, and we eventually found out in the episode that this Vanitas is a human. Hindi pala totoong vampire ito, right? He's human. So now I'll deep dive into that later on. So overall, final scene pala. Vanitas is convincing Noi to join his team. Noi consistently says no. Then Noi tells Vanitas that he's going back to the airship to recover his luggage and his cat. Well, Vanitas was convincing Noi to not go back to the airship until, well, police find him. He's being hunted down again, right? And well, Noi collapses kasi nakagat din siya ng babae. Nakagat din siya. So yeah, overall, it's a great pilot. Alright, it's a really great pilot. Pace, well, due to the lively nature of one of the main protags, si Vanitas mismo, the pace is fast, right? The pace is really fast, and especially well, it picked up during the action sequences, right? Grabe. But despite having a fast pace, it was, well, talagang maayos pa rin ang pacing despite the speed, right? Despite the fast speed, okay, of the action sequences, and of course the conversations between Vanitas and Noi. Grabe. Flow naman. First gear shift is when Noi first noticed this lady. Hindi pa niya nakakalata na vampire to, pero na who fainted. Siyempre sinalba niya. Baka kung mapano pwede ba. So he treated her to a cup of coffee in the cafe of the airship, thinking that everything is fine. Alright, then suddenly, well, the cold, parang nalalamig, yung panlalamig ay medyo lumala. Then all of a sudden, napakita niya ang kanyang pagiging vampire. Yun, doon siya nalata. Second gear shift is when, well, Vanitas interferes to cure her. Okay. So, wow. Ang daldal. Right? Vanitas is quite the trash talker. Right? He's quite a talker. Okay, madaldal na bida to. And from the looks of it, we're in for an anime that's full of smack talk. All right, and of course, he explains it really well. He explains it really well on what the disease is all about, on how it manifests in a vampire, and what needs to be done to cure that vampire of this disease. All right, it's the way the disease manifests itself in a vampire. It's demonic. Okay, it's nothing short of demonic. Final gear shift is when Noi actually tries to save Vanitas from falling, but he fell too. Eventually, parang silang hindi namatay. And Noi was fascinated in how Vanitas cured that vampire, on how Vanitas was able to use the book of Vanitas despite being a human. Right? Now that's probably sort of the mysteries of this anime that will be tackled in future episodes. That's the way I see it here. Right? And if it weren't for that gear shift, I started deep diving into it. So these the final two gear shifts that I saw will probably play a role in this anime. Plot naman, malinis. Right? Malinis, because it totally focused on the initial meeting between Noi and Vanitas. Right? It's a rocky start for the main protagonist kasi they had to cure this vampire of that disease. Okay, talagang wow. It's like talagang tentacles ang itsura niya. But in the anime they're called briars. Okay, pero talagang tentacle ang itsura. It is wow. The manifestations of the signs and symptoms, it's nothing short of demonic. Parang it looks more like a demon possession than a disease. Right? It's scary, and it only affects vampires, right? Which makes it even scarier. Right? Imagine a vampire not in his right mind because of this disease. Okay. Kagat siya ng kagat to anyone, right? Discretion is thrown out the window. That's what the plot made me realize, right? The plot was was really clean enough for me to discern what's how this, well, to give me an inkling as to how this disease destroys its victim, destroys its host. Kumbaga. Wow. Yeah, like I said a while ago, it is a great pilot, right? A slam bang one, if you may. So, the case study of Vanitas, episode 1. Now, for our first official deep dive into this anime, palagi ko, Vanitas has a real name, just like any vampire, He has a real name. We probably assumed the name Vanitas because I think itong pagiging let's call this vampire doctor is being passed down. Okay? The latest is this one, si Vanitas. Well, I now have that idea that Vanitas is not his real name. Kumaga, he's part of a long line of Vanitases who have handled the book of Vanitas. Of course, from the first Vanitas who, according to legend, he got banished from his village or from his community because he was born under a blue moon. Right? For a vampire, malas yun. Okay, so due to that, he was banished from his community and he swore vengeance. Hence, he wrote the book of Vanitas. It's a grimoire wherein the code for the vampire's extinction exists. Nandun sa librong yon. But eventually, I think, siguro, from that long line of Vanitases, this Vanitas wants to cure vampires of this disease. So he is using that same grimoire to cure these vampires. Okay. I think the Book of Vanitas is now being used. It's not being used as intended. Okay. The original Vanitas intended it to be a tool of the vampire's extinction, but this Vanitas is, well, using it for good. He's actually curing diseased vampires. He's not actually killing them. Okay, so we can deep dive into this even more as the episodes go by, right? It's only the pilot, so we're just speculating, right? For the sake of the deep dive, all right? So again, the case study of Vanitas, episode 1. Two thumbs up for its pilot, mga lifestyle. So, well, title of the next episode has been teasered. Ang gulo ng title. Right? It's based on Noise Memoirs. And if you haven't seen the finals, the final scene, the official final scene is the post-credit. But the other final scene, yeah, it's quite disturbing. Mukhang ini-spoiler na tayo as to what's going to happen in the finale. But anyway, matagal pa ang finale, nasa pilot pa lang tayo. So, for the next episode, we'll just have to wait for it and deep dive into that only. Enjoy the other reviews, mga ka-lifestyle.
Wow! Alright. I'm gonna tell you all as to bakit ganun lang ang wow ko. So, what? Emilio was eventually rescued. Right? Then, John eventually rescues Kate. Parang ganun lang yan eh. So, while all this was going on, well, basically, Edward gets exposed for his irregularities. Right? Yung pala, kaya pala nawawala sa eksena this episode si Luis. Kinonta kanya si Barbara. Inalerto na yun. Alam na rin ng mga senior tawag na, yung mga senior shadows ang katarantaduhan ni Edward. So, when John, Kate, and Emilico were able to return to the children's wing, dala-dala nila si Edward. Hinabol sila eh. So yun, nabiso si Edward. Alright? And he was instantly reported to the Lord Grandfather. Pero strangely enough, simpleng reprimand lang ang ibiligay ni Lord Grandfather kay Edward at saka sa dalawa niyang kasama. Final scene. Well, everybody's just minding their own business, yung mga young shadows, or so it seems. And, well, Emilico left us all with this very disturbing statement. For the sake of the Shadows family. Wow. Okay. Ang daming meaning nun. Pero ano kaya talagang ibig sabihin nila ni Emilico? Alright? That was a disturbing ending. Overall, let's break this down ARD style, alright? Pace muna. What? It was sort of a cliffhanger. Because kasi Kate, Emilico, and John were trying to escape Edward's clutches. Right? So, at, well, napabuti pa yon. Kasi, even for someone who has caretaker status pala, is prohibited to set foot in the children's wing at that time of day. Basta gabi, siguro basta pagpatak ng gabi, the caretaker has to leave the premises. Right? Violate ni Edward yon sa paghahabol lang kila Kate at Emilico. And he unknowingly tagged John along with him. Right? Then, of course, he got exposed by Barbara and the other senior shadows in the children's wing. So, tanong sila, anong instruction anong klaseng instruction yan? Ha? So, yun. Right? Then, the pace suddenly slowed down abruptly when the Lord Grandfather passed his final judgment on Edward and company. Hanggang ganun lang. Reprimand. Right? Then, it's now all the way to the final scene. Okay? I was not convinced of the pacing. Alright? Kumbaga, from a cliffhanger, all of a sudden it becomes mundanely slow. Alright? Sana merong isang particular scene na that will transition from this to that. Sana merong ganun. Wala eh. Alright? Flow naman. First gear shift is what Kate and Emilico finally escapes Edward's room kasi doon sila kinulong eh. Okay, with the help of that little suit thingy na yun pala alaga supposedly ni Rum Because in the aftermath, tumakbo yung little suit thing na yon sa isang kulungan. Right? A doll was imprisoned there. Pero, judging from its yung pinakitang lower face at saka yung ditong umano rito, bumalot dito sa as ribbon yung little suit thing na yon. Yeah, it's Ram. So tinulungan pala sila ni Ram. Alright? Pero how did ano? I'll explain later, okay? I'll explain later. Ngayon ko na na-realize Right? So that's the first gear shift. The final gear shift came when, well, of course, Edward got exposed. So kumbaga, he has gained whatever trust he has gained in that wing. Yep, it's now down to this. Okay? Even the senior shadows of that wing, nope, wala nang tiwala sa kanya. They probably reached a unanimous decision. Edward cannot be trusted. Okay? Hindi dapat pagkatiwalaan ang mokong na to. Right? This douchebag of a hybrid. I want to call them hybrids. Yung shadow na doll pa. This douchebag of a hybrid cannot be trusted anymore. At, well, Barbara has made her point clear. Okay? So, these two would have dictated the finale. But no, it was the pace. Okay? I'll explain later. So, plot naman. No, kasi ano explain ko mamaya. So, plot ay yung okay. Sorry. Plot-wise, planchado. Right? Planchado. Because, well, it had a clean plot from Kate's eventual capture by Edward, then up to Edward getting exposed. Right? The plot was really clean from in that portion of the episode. Then the anime left us all hanging when the Lord Grandfather passed on that decision na i-reprimand na lang si Edward. Or even what you call this? One of his fellow lords actually questioned his decision. Bakit ganon? Okay, bakit ganon? So, right? The reason why I said that the plot was well ironed out is because of, well, I think Cloverworks made what you call this? Were somewhat half-hearted with their decision to give us all a clean plot in the finale. So they gave us this, then the aftermath scene, then as if nothing happened. Alright, as if nothing happened, without even a scene that will give us a smooth transition from Edward's expose to the eventual final scene. What's up, Cloverworks? So, I could not say that the pace, the flow, and the plot worked together for this finale. You know? But I feel that Cloverworks made a half-hearted finale. Alright? Parang I was shocked, okay? I was actually shocked by the Lord Grandfather's decision not to enforce the banish on Edward. Kasi yun ang unang pinropose na itapon na mula Shadow's house si Edward. Okay? He deserved that. He deserved to be banished from Shadow's house kasi he was making moves the Lord Grandfather doesn't know just to get ahead. Alright? At gagamitin pa yung mga bata para sa kanyang for his truly self-centered motives. Okay? But one thing good about this episode is na-establish na ang evil. Okay? Ang evil side ni Edward. Okay? Established na rito. With the Lord Grandfather's light punishment, he can do he can do more sinister, he can do things more sinister than what he just did here in the finale. Okay? For sure, babalikan niya ang mga young shadows. Especially si Kate at si John. Right? Sila na ang prime target kayo ni Edward. Now, can't believe I'm gonna rate this one. So, Shadow's House finale. I gotta be objective. Bakit? Okay. Let's deep dive into both the pace and okay. So for the pace muna. There should have been a scene in this finale that put us into a transition phase from Edward's expose then into the aftermath. Right? Wala eh. I could not feel the transition. Basta na lang. Poop! Alright? Now, remember, I think you've seen the orientation scene. And I'm sure you're wondering that can be a transition scene. Nope. You can't consider that a transition scene. Because Kate and Emilico weren't talking about Edward's transgressions during that scene. Okay? They were talking about it. Okay, so I could not consider that a transition scene, yung orientation scene, yung i-orient na silang lima as to how the children's wing would be kung paano dapat nilang kilos at galaw sa loob ng children's wing. Yeah. Wala eh. Not even the other young shadows, hindi nila pinag-usapan ang kalupitan ang kalabisan ni Edward na to. They should have talked about it. Yan. If they made a conversation about that, yun. Transition scene yan. That would be a transition scene. And it would have given us a smooth what you call this? A smooth run into the pacing. Kasi from cliffhanger, then all of a sudden mundanely slow. Whoa, teka muna. Ako, na-confuse ako eh. Medyo na-confuse ako. Now, for the gear shifts, the two gear shifts that I saw would have dictated the finale. Pero, wala eh. Ang ganda ng mga gear shift eh. Okay, these were really good gear shifts. Pero, yung pacing ang sumira sa finale. Okay? Yung pacing. Well, I couldn't say they had a bad plot. I couldn't say they had a bad plot, but it was actually a good one. It's actually a good one. Pero, nawala yung aura ng dalawang gear shift na nakita ko because of the pacing. after Edward's vow to reaffirmation to get back at the young shadows for exposing him, dapat medyo nakakatakot yun. Okay? Medyo nakakatakot na banta yun. Okay? What else can he do? What else can he do to the young shadows? Now, he has the entire children's wing as his enemy. Right? Pero caretaker ang status niya. He can do weird things. He can do evil things to everyone in the children's wing. So, parang hindi na explore ng kahit konti through conversation. Hindi na pinag-usapan ng mga young shadows yung ginawa niya sa kanila. So, wow, right? Cloverworks nearly swung and missed. They swung and missed actually, pero it was still a good finale, right? Yeah, I was still cheering for Kate and Emilico, and that final scene, yeah, it was disturbing. It was disturbing. Okay, so hence my rating. Okay, but let's talk about this anime's future a little bit. Okay, I'm not expecting another season for Shadow's House because of what happened here, because of probably the final scene. Alright, mukhang the young shadows have already submitted themselves to this endless cycle that the third floor shadows will recruit new dolls. Siyempre pakakainin nila ng abo ng Lord Grandfather, so the three they've selected will become subservient to the Lord Grandfather. So may bago na silang doll candidates. So, well, I don't know. Right? But I am not keeping my hopes up for another season of Shadow's House. Okay? Well, yun lang. Right? So, hence my rating. So, again, as much as it pains me, Shadow's House finale, first time I've given this rating to a finale, mga ka-lifestyle. And it had to be Shadow's House. So, well, wala nang teaser. This is probably it for this anime. Alright? I could say, yeah, I was somewhat disappointed. I was somewhat disappointed with its finale. Okay? Pero if Cloverworks decides to give this another season, they should explain. Probably they should redo the orientation scene, or probably start the new run from there. Kasi talagang the pacing destroyed this episode. Alright? So anyway, but I'm telling you guys, I am not keeping my hopes up for another season of this anime. Sayang. Okay? It was a rather disappointing finale. Okay? So, enjoy the other reviews. Wow! Ooh! Right! Grabe. But, we all know what happened in the last episode. But, first and foremost, let me remind you guys that it's now the second half of this anime's run. So, based on what happened here, well, business is about to pick up even more. I'm gonna tell you why. Well, of course, everyone is mourning the death of Hina. Lalat yung pamilya niya. Takemichi is holding himself accountable. Even Naoto is holding himself accountable. So, they just gathered themselves up during Hina's wake. And, well, simple lang ang pinropose ni Takemichi kay Naoto. We have to kill the source. We have to take out the source. I'm going to destroy Toman by becoming its head. So, kasi the name Kisaki always comes up every time Hina dies. Okay? Every time Ako dies. Tapos yung binisita nila si Draken brings up his name. So, Naoto and Takemichi now have a consensus. Kisaki. Okay? Kisaki is the problem. Kaya gano'n na lang yung idea ni Takemichi na babalik siya at siya magiging head ng Toman. So, yeah. He went back and final scene. After going in a public bath, Takemichi, Mikey, and Drakon, they came out. Sinalubong sila ng iba pang mga captains ng Toman. At sinabi ni Mikey, it's time to formally introduce the new 3rd Division captain. It's none other than Takemichi. Alright? So, yep. His idea is now a reality. It's starting to become a reality. Okay? Grabe. What a way to start, what a way for Tokyo Revengers to start the second half of its run. Alright? Overall, it's a fucking good episode. Alright? Pace pa lang. Okay? It was so well paced. Okay? Well, syempre they have to kailangan nilang magdalamhati kasi well, girlfriend ni Takemichi namatay na naman. Namatay pa rin despite what they did. So they had to mourn first. Okay? And then all of a sudden, yun nga, pinropose uli ni Takemichi kay Naoto na dapat ganito gawin natin. Eventually, pumayag na rin si Naoto. Okay? Handshake is back in 2006. Pero, he wakes up in this public bath with Draken and Mikey. Sabi ko, ano ginagawa ko rito? Ayun pala, ganito pala sila kung maglukuhan ngayon. Public bath, magbubugbugan. Then another funny moment. A shampoo hat lands on Takemichi's head. So, Draken and Mikey just, it made them remind of the day that when, what you call this? Kumbaga, the first time na naging comic relief sa kanila si Takemichi, yeah, he had shit on his head. He was a shit head, literally, that day. Right? So, it took them back to that day. Talagang, nag-aaway na sila, natawa na lang uli sila. So, grabe, okay? The pacing was superb, actually. The pacing was superb. Talagang it really made us feel na, well, Hina is gone again and it's back to square one for Takemichi and Naoto. It's back to square one. Nangyari na naman eh. Although the circumstances behind it are a lot different now. It's a lot different. Okay? Flow naman. Okay. First gear shift was when Hina's mother gave Takemichi the necklace. Takemichi gave Hina all those years ago. Kumbaga, birthday gift. Remember that? Yung 4-leaf clover na necklace. Binalik ng nanay ni Hina kay Takemichi. At doon pa lang nagets na ng nanay ni Hina na up to that point, mahal pa rin niya si Takemichi. And really made Takemichi think, why did I break up with her? Paano yun? Paano nangyari yun? So, it left him stumped, okay, at that point. So, second gear shift was when, ayun, Naoto approves of Takemichi's idea. Kasi wala na eh. Wala na ibang paraan eh. Okay, so, Takemichi now has to go back to 2006 and work up the ranks of Toman to become its commander. Yung talagang head. Right? So, wow. Right? That was some gear shift. Of course, they sealed that with the isekai handshake. I call it an isekai handshake because Takemichi would get isekai back to 2006. Okay? And final gear shift is of course when tapos na sila maligo sa public bath. Sinabi nila Draken at Mikey, Takenechi, let's go. Ayun, naghihintay na yung mga ibang captain ng Toman. Ayun, biglang in-announce ni Mikey, let's formally introduce our new 3rd Division captain. Walang iba kundi si Takemichi. So, that means only one thing. His plan of taking over Toman is now in motion. Right? So, well, you know what I'm going to say. These 3 gear shifts will play a role in the second half of the run. Alright? Kasi yung especially yung huling dalawa, yun ang paghuhugutan. Yun problem paghuhugutan ngayon ni Takemichi. Alright? So, yeah. These are awesome gear shifts. Tell you. These are awesome gear shifts. Plot-wise, malinis. Right? Tokyo Revengers is not known for sleeper moments. Right? It has already na-establish na ng anime na yan. Wala sang hindi kayo aantukin sa bawat episode nito. This episode 13 is no different. Right? So, the plot was really clean. Talagang naka-focus talagang attention ng viewers on how Naoto and Takemichi are racking their brains as to how they're going to go about this now. Kasi, like I said a while ago, it's back to square one for them. They're both back to square one. Okay? So, they even had to visit Draken on death row. Doon lang pala nalaman ni Takemichi that Draken is on death row. May pinapatay sa kanya si Kisaki. And in-interview nila si Draken. There's nothing more right now he would want to do than to kill Kisaki. So yun. That's yep. That's a death convict. That will probably be a death convict's last wish. Mamatay si Kisaki. Alright? So talagang naantig ang puso ni Takemichi when Draken said that. And well, Draken looks differently in 2017. Talagang kadbo na siya. Siguro isi-CJ electric ka siya kaya he needs to be bald. Okay? Kaya siya siguro kinalbo. That will be his manner of death. Electric chair. I don't know if the electric chair is still used in Japan. I don't know kasi sa Amerika may gumagamit pa. Okay? Sa Amerika. But wow, the plot was so clean, right? It's gonna make you deep dive into the episode like I just did. Alright? So, well, another great episode from this anime. Okay? It's getting the hype it deserves now. And, kung hindi nyo pa nababalitaan, a live-action Tokyo Revengers movie will be out in Japan. Alright? Someone has broken the news on TikTok. Okay? Kaya alam ko na rin. So, if it is getting the hype, it deserves it. Right? Within this run. Proof that the Tokyo Revengers anime is the real deal. So, Tokyo Revengers episode 13. 2 thumbs up. Okay? 2 thumbs up. You know, the only person we haven't seen, the only person's 2017 version we haven't seen here is Mikey's. Okay? Kasi we saw a glimpse of it during the pilot. Ganun lang siya, naka-profile lang. But you know, it's Mikey. It's Mikey. So, si Kisaki yan. Madalas din natin makita. But, his name keeps coming up every time Takemichi's mission is successful. Alright? So, talagang, if you were in Takemichi's shoes, you would probably think the same thing. Okay? It's Toman that's not the problem. It's Kisaki. So, yeah. The need to eliminate him as early as 2006 is now necessary. Yun ang nakikita ni Takemichi rito. Right? He needs to be eliminated that early. Wag nang hintayin pa mag 2017 pa. Right? As early as 2006, eliminate Kisaki from Toman. Okay? So, wow. It's going to be a very interesting second half. Okay? It's going to be one very interesting second half. Probably on the road to the finale. Alright? So, wow. Okay? And the Tokyo Revengers manga is now heating up. Alright? I'm getting intel from one of my fellow TikTokers. So, hey, if you want to follow me on TikTok, just wait for this video's end credits, okay? Nandun ang my TikTok username is there. Alright? So again, Tokyo Revengers episode 13. 2 thumbs up.
A slam back 2 thumbs up, mga ka-lifestyle.
So in typical Revengers fashion, no teasers. Pero we now have a much cooler ED. You heard it? Kung narinig nyo na, ang cool, no? So, I wouldn't mind listening to that again next week when we watch the next episode. Kaya, tutok tayo. And, well, in the meantime, for you mga ka-lifestyle, enjoy the other reviews, okay? Wow! Right? Napawawa ko dahil, well, as the title goes, Riding Rush Duel. Alright, so, it's Seven's own version of the Riding Duel by Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Now, what? The 6 Goa presidents, okay, the original 6, magkakapatid pala to. They are the original, they are the actual head honchos of Goa Corp. Nagbalik sila dahil hindi sila kontento sa trabaho ni Atachi-chan. Alright? So, well, essentially they fired her and challenged Team 7s to, well, basically with the entire Rush Duel program on the line. Right? So, if they win, tanggal ang isang, what you call this? Tanggalin isang armament, tanggalin isang equip na force gymnastics equip na nakakabit doon sa Super Rush Duel robot, which does make it move. Right? Kasi pag tumagal yon, mawawasak yung robot na yon. Okay? Pag tumagal yon, if it keeps on moving like that, okay? So they will take one armament off. If they lose all 6, Well, they'll just let the Rush Duel robot be destroyed by those equips. And gagawin nilang forced employee, they will force Yuga into employment. Yan ang stakes. So, unang lumaban itong si Yuro. Yung unang lumaban. Okay, yung panganay na kapatid. So, it was a riding rush duel. It's the closest thing to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, right? But, unfortunately, nope. No Synchro Monsters were introduced. Talagang rush duel siya. Okay? So, I was wrong in my assumption last review na we might see the Synchro Summon be introduced in sevens. Nope. Talagang rush duel lang siya. Eventually, Yuga beats Yuro. So, tanggal niya sa armament. But, may punishment pala sa mga president pag natalo sila. They need to resign as president. So, yun. Napilitan mag-resign. Final scene. What? The one who instigated this whole thing was one of the siblings, si Yuo. Alright? So, nagtataka yung isang kapatid na babae, bakit niya pinarisan yung kuya nila? So, ganun. Kung yung mga nirason. And, retreats to his laboratory. May pinakita doon parang card, may naman siyang card na ginagawa. Ano kaya to? So, that was the final scene, yeah? And, sidelight, may nakalimot doon sa mga sinampayan ni Romin. May nakalimot na ibaba sila. Overall, it's a good episode. Okay, it's a good episode. Let's talk about the pace. What? Medyo okay ang pace. Okay, medyo okay ang pace. Lalo na nung during the duel scene. Okay lang kasi meron ba mabagal na duel? Not since Duel Monsters ended. All right? Not since Duel Monsters ended. But I felt it was the non-duel scenes were, I couldn't see the justification in the slowness in some scenes. Alright? But ang nagpaganda sa pacing ng episode na to was the duel. Was the duel scene. Again, well, let's just say the duel saves the episode again. Flow naman. What? First gear shift is of course when the original 6 presidents made their appearance. Right? Bongga nga eh. They came in a spaceship. Akala tuloy ni Luke, mga aliens sila. Akala tuloy ni Luke, mga aliens sila. Umira na naman ang pagka-clueless niya. Right? Umira na naman ang pagka-clueless ni Luke. Second gear shift is when, ayan na. The duel, what you call this? When Yuga beats Yuro in come from behind win. Right? I thought it was good to suffer back-to-back losses here. He was that close to losing. Alright, so suddenly pulls out this combo involving Lightning Bolt Condor. Ayun. The Raid Raptor look is his ace monster that looks like a Raid Raptor. Yep, that's the one. Yun na nagpanalo sa kanya. Right? He found a way to neutralize the effect of the I forgot that trap already. That was actually holding him back from finishing this duel. He found a way around it. So, na-neutralize niya. Proceeded to maxing out Euro's life points. Noon, panalo. Final gear shift is when moments after Yuro lost, he was forced to resign as president of Goha by his own siblings, sarili niya mga kapatid, na kapwa niya presidente. Alright? So, why did I call it a gear shift? Because, well, in all indications from their actions, looks like Team 7s will be up for a real fight. Okay, Team 7s and allies. Now, in the case of Neil, since he is a Goha employee, he has no choice but to follow these dorky presidents. All right, he has no choice. Technically he's still employed by Goha. Empleyado pa rin siya. So he has no choice but to follow orders. You can't blame Neil. Okay? You can't blame Neil. So ganito ba kalupit na kalaban ngayon ang kaharap ng Team 7s? They will even disown one of their own just to advance their own agendas. Alright? At ito namang si Yuo, mukhang may sariling agenda to. Okay, yung isa nilang kapatid, mukhang may sariling agenda to. So if it weren't for that gear shift, we wouldn't actually deep dive into how these 6 operate. Ay, hindi, 5 na lang pala sila. 5 na lang. Wala na si Yuro eh. He's been literally kicked out of the company because of his loss to Yuga. Alright? So, yeah. Mukhang malupit na kalaban to. Mukhang malupit na kalaban ng mga to. Only the final gear shift will probably play a role in future episodes. Okay? So, ito lang nakikita kong gear shift talaga na magiging factor in future episodes. We would tend to look back at this gear shift kung sakaling merong crucial na mangyari. Alright? So, plot-wise, yeah, malinis. Okay? Malinis ang plot. Because, well, the 6 presidents have this imposing nature. They really want to show everybody that they can make an example out of anybody, including their own. Talo si Yuro, pinag-resign nila. And, well, Yuro obliged. Well, he saw it as a blessing because he's now free. He's now free to do whatever he wants. So, yun. Umalis na siya with his D-wheel. Okay? Hindi mo mukhang D-wheel kasi mukhang hovercraft eh. So, yeah, malinis ang plot talaga. It made me focus on what the 6 presidents' motives are. It really made me deep dive into how they operate, what their mindsets are, what their mindsets probably are. Alright? So, yun. The plot was that clean in order for me so clean that it made me deep dive into this episode. Alright? Well, another good episode from this anime. Alright? So, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode 54. Bottom up. Bakit? Kasi, like I told you guys a while ago, if it weren't for the duel scene, I might have given this a lower rating. Kasi, hindi ako convinced sa total pacing ng episode. Okay? Hindi ako sold. Okay? I wasn't quite satisfied with the total pacing of this episode. Yeah, the duel was fast paced. Okay? Talagang kailangan tutukan mo kasi riding rush duel nga to eh. Right? It's reminiscent of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. At saka isa pa, they did not actually, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 is now known as a fan service anime. Right? Well, may fan service moment nga. When Yuro summoned the Harpy Lady, yan, fan service moment yan. But Studio Bridge could have pushed the envelope a little bit more. Riding Rush Duel, you should have introduced the Synchro Summon. Alright? And they should have introduced cards from 5Ds. Like Speed World. Yan. Speed World. Okay? Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa na-release as an official card yan. Speed World 1 or Speed World 2. Wala pa. So, or any card that involves that requires Speed World, like yung isang ginagamit ni Yusei, yung Angel's Baton. Yan. Tanggal siya ng ilang speed counters to draw 2 cards. Tapos every standby phase, di ba, matadagdagan isang speed counter yon. So they could have made a variation of Speed World for this episode. To make us, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is arguably the most critically acclaimed Yu-Gi-Oh! Series of all time. Then, naghahanap nga ako ng fan service moment about that. Wala. So, Studio Bridge could have pushed the envelope a little bit more in this episode. Kumbaga, Riding Rush Duel. So, ako, in-expect ko pa nga na, baka i-introduce na Synchro Summon Okay, I wanna see how they're going to inject the Synchro Summon in Rush Duel. Pero, nope. No sign of a Synchro Monster or even a tuner. Alright? Kaya, and bottom line, hindi ako talagang nakontento sa pacing. Alright? Except for the duel scene, of course. Talagang fast-paced yan. Talagang, it's not too slow. It's not slow enough to make you get bored of it, to make you doze off. Talagang the pacing for a duel scene is right there. Okay? They stayed true to that. Pero the other scenes, yung pacing niya, parang they could have done more. Right? Basta they could have done more, Studio Bridge. But anyway, they still got the 1 thumb up from me because of the duel scene. Mainly because of the duel scene. And the final scene. Mukhang na-intriga ako dun. Ano ba? Mukhang may hidden agenda tong isang bulilit na to Bulilit pa lang medyo kung anong plano iniisip no. So again, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode 54. Tama.
Sorry my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh! fans, 1 thumb up lang ang kaya ko.
Well, right after the episode proper ended, I didn't even bother looking at the teaser for the next episode. To tell you honestly, guys. Yeah, I don't know why. So, we'll just have to wait for next week and watch the next episode. Right now, I have no idea what the next episode would look like.
Impressive. Alright. Hindi ko akalain na 1-hour pilot pala ito. So, the detective's name is Siesta. Yeah, the white-haired girl. And the male lead is whom she calls Kimmy. Right? So, it wasn't the usual boy meets girl meeting. All right, it's there was a terrorist on the same plane they boarded. All right, so a terrorist actually called in for a detective, and Siesta was there. Then all of a sudden she pulls Kimi to become her assistant. They eventually neutralized the terrorist. And who has this? What the fuck is that tentacle coming out of his ear? Wow, that was disturbing. Okay. And with just her wits, Siesta takes him down. Right. And she actually used a gun that uses bullets that has her own blood. Wow. And would you believe that from the very start she has been playing Kimi in her hands? Right? Alam niya kung sino yung gagawing mule para dun sa yung weapon na ginamit niya dun sa terorista. Wow. Can she this girl detective can take 20 steps ahead of everybody, including Kimi. So the next half of the episode was focused on her trying very hard to convince Kimi to become her assistant. Right? Wow. She even helped him solve a it looks like a drug run case, pero pinalalabas ng iba na naglagano na raw mga halako the bad toilet spirit, according that comes from a Japanese urban legend. Yeah, they're passing it off as hanako, proliferation of hanakos. But no, dinibang agad ni Siesta yon as, well, front lang yon for a drug ring to sell its drugs to the track team. Eventually the track team became drug runners themselves. So yun, nasolve kagad ni Siesta, and of course with Kimi's help. So Kimi finally agrees to become her assistant, but we later found out in the episode that Siesta's now dead. Alright, and I think it's probably been 2 years since her death. So that leaves Kimi alone again now. Alright. Final scene. It's actually a post-credit one. Wow. You know, I'm a sucker for pilot episodes that have post-credit scenes. Yan ang impact kasi ng Marvel Cinematic Universe sa mga on other cultures. Well, anime is no exception. So the final scene was a post-credit, and camera focuses on a girl that is checking her news feed on the internet. It says Snatcher, local boy is the hero. Right? Ito nagtapos ang 1-hour pilot ng anime na to. Overall, it's sort of a decent pilot, right? So, pace, well, I got no problem with the first half of the episode. Yeah, alright. Talagang it was reasonably fast because the main protags are, they're dealing with a terrorist who has this tentacle coming out of his ear as a weapon, right? Muntik na nga mapuruan si Siesta rito. Okay, but after breaking into Kimi's home, and well, she just helped herself to ordering pizza and wearing his pajamas. sabi nga ni Kimi, you're wearing my pajamas like you were my live-in girlfriend. Alright, medyo natawa ko doon, okay? Medyo natawa ko doon. But overall, the pacing was somewhat mishandled, right? You had this very fast-paced first half, right? It's well, I don't know, well, Siesta calls it a planned meeting, a planned recruitment. That's what she is implying on how she played Kimmy in her hands. I think they mishandled the pacing of this pilot. Kasi you have to well, I got no problem with the on how they transitioned into that, but their long discussion, yeah. I'm gonna explain later, alright? Basta, I wasn't satisfied with the pacing of the pilot. It's a 1-hour pilot. You should have moments lighter than the one I saw in during the discussion that Siesta and Kimi were having. Ay, hindi ako nakontento doon. So, flow naman. Well, first gear shift is of course their first meeting when they were trying to take out the terrorists, and suddenly Siesta pulls him out to become her assistant. Alright. Basta na lang, talaga literal niyang hinugot si Kimi. Oh, ito, assistant ko. I'm the detective. Here's my assistant. Wow. Alright. That's a gear shift, right? I can't deny it. Second gear shift is when they took out this terrorist. When Siesta herself took out this terrorist, kasi talagang in her own words, walang silbi si Kimi. Okay. But she still insisted that Kimi be her assistant, and well, Kimi has been turning down the offer ever since, because nakita na niya kung gaano kadelikado ang mundo ng babaeng to, right? Kung gaano kadelikado ang mundo ng babaeng detective na to. So yeah, he has his apprehensions. He definitely has his apprehensions. Okay. Third gear shift is when Kimi told about the proliferation of Hanakos in his school district, and malaking ugong-ugong na penetrate na ng drug ring ang track team nila. Right? Not only is the track team using these drugs, they're also selling them in that school of his. So medyo mukhang true to life to medyo talagang I paid closer attention to this pilot, kasi mukhang true to life na kaso yung hahandlein naman nila ngayon. So yeah, then the final gear shift came when, well, Kimi finally accepts the offer. They put on the old-fashioned handshake deal. All right. So, first time I've ever cited 4 scenes to be gear shifts, kasi, well, this is a 1-hour pilot, and I saw 4. So these 4 gear shifts will probably play a role in the next few episodes, at least in the next few episodes of this anime. Okay. And now, plot-wise, okay, sa plot naman, borderline clean. Okay? Borderline malinis. It had some sleeper moments. Okay? Pero medyo maraming kuskus balungus din. Pero if you're into the detective genre, you would deduce it right away. Okay, I'm glad I've seen some detective animes in my lifetime, right? So medyo gets ko. Okay, medyo gets ko yung plot, right? I can't say it's planchado, pero it's borderline clean because talagang finocus ang attention ng viewer sa what you call this, sa origin story ng tandem na to. Okay? Sa origin story nila. Okay? But one thing isn't clear yet. How did Siesta die? Kasi nung right before the credits, sinabi na wala na si Siesta. She's passed away. And we see Kimi all alone walking along this flyover. I think he's headed for school. Kasi I think this was 2 years after Siesta died. So, kumbaga he's probably in senior high na. So, despite having senior moments, sleeper moments, alright? Sleeper moments. At medyo maraming ding kuskus balungos. Okay, maraming pasikot-sikot ang dinaan ng pilot na to. Okay? It's borderline clean kasi talagang mafo-focus ang attention mo sa pinaka-origin ng tandem nila. Then all of a sudden in the scene before the credits, sinabi ni Kimi na she's gone. So okay, it came quite a shock to me because we've been for a good 40 minutes talagang their tandem has well, the animators made me focus on the origin story of their tandem. Kasi sinabi rin ni Kimi noon na after that they have handled so many cases. And, you would actually feel sad and shocked, and you really want to know how the detective die. You really want to know. So pace, flow, and plot almost didn't come together with this episode, with this pilot, right? If it weren't for probably the final 2 scenes, right? We would probably have a bad pilot. Okay, but overall, yeah, mapapawa ka pa rin, right? It's a decent pilot, although it's a 1 hour one. Okay, so the detective is already dead. Episode 1. You know, I've handled a 1 hour pilot before. It was the pilot of Warlords of Sigurdriva. This was in fall 2020. That was probably in volume 2. Yeah, volume 2 of the ARD. Check that out, alright? It's in my playlists. And comparing this to that, I never had a single sleeper moment in that 1 hour pilot. Right? I never had a single sleeper moment, but this one, yeah, I actually went this and this during that rather long discussion scene between Siesta and Kimi. I never thought that I would actually doze off during a pilot. Okay. Oh, and the other 1 hour pilot I handled was the one by Darwin's Game. Yeah, yung pilot ng Darwin's Game, 1 hour din yun. Definitely no sleeper moments there. And wala rin kuskus balungos. It focused on the 2 main characters at that time. Si Kaname at si the one wielding the chain, the girl yun. Alright. On how she fell for Kaname. Alright. Medyo kilig moment. But it was a rather interesting 1 hour pilot. What saved this pilot from getting a rating lower than the 1 thumb up is when, well, probably the final 2 scenes, because nashock talaga ako nung sinabi ni Kimi na patay na si Siesta. Ganun lang. But anyway, so but it's forgivable kasi pilot pa lang eh. It's episode 1. So we will find that out later on in this anime kung I think paano siya namatay or on the circumstances leading to her death. Right? Malalaman natin yan. So medyo talaga na-intriga ako. Wow, how did she die? Right? Hence the 1 thumb up. Right? But it's too early to count this anime out. Okay? But I'm warning you guys, if you're not into the detective genre, if you're not into detective or crime animes, you might be wasting your time with this one. Right? But if you're willing to take a gamble, go ahead. Right? As for me, it's too early to tell if this I've already forgot the animation studio of this. If the animation studio is doing a good job with this anime, kasi pilot pa lang, and I just gave it, and the reason why I still give it the 1 thumb up is because of the final 2 scenes. And of course, the probably the first 15 to 20 minutes of the pilot, talaga nagbabakbakan sila. I saw potential. Okay, I saw potential. So again, the detective is already dead. Episode 1. And well, next episode has been teasered. We'll just have to wait for that and watch it and see if this anime is totally made up for this rather what you call this? I wouldn't call it disappointing kasi binigyan ko na 1 thumb up eh. Maybe you can do a better job on that one. Let's just see next week. So in the meantime, enjoy the other reviews.
Whoa! Woo! That was an awesome pilot. First and foremost, welcome back, Getarobo! Wow! Okay? The Mecha franchise co-created by well, by the late great Gonagai is back. Now, let's talk about the pilot. Well, it's a post-apocalyptic world, and well, basically, the dinosaur empire is back with a new ally. The story starts with Getter D2's pilot getting incapacitated. So, bumagsak yung Getter D2 sa isang landfill. Okay? It's a landfill. Who discovers it? A monk and the son of Ryoma Nagara, the original pilot of Getter Robo. Kasi tatlo silang original pilot eh. His son, Takuma. Okay? Yun ang pangalan ng anak niya, si Takuma. So, well, basically, hindi pinakilaman nila. Nilabas muna nila yung tawag dito, yung na-incapacitate na piloto. Takuma gets in as if nasakyan na niya ang robot na to. He was able to pilot it. Alright? Pero with a little hack from his monk friend, who also happens to be the younger brother of one of the original pilots. Right? So, the Getaway Research Lab, what you call this, contacts this new Getter pilot, si Takuma, at ang kumusap pa sa kanya, si Jin Hayato, one of the original pilots also, kasi tatlo sila eh. He's now the commander of the Getaway Research Lab. He too is now a scientist. Okay? So, nagpakilala si Takuma. Ako si Takuma. Ayun. Sabi niya, tinanong ni Hayato, who's your father? Sinabi niya, si Ryoma. O di, napalabas yung that classic 6 mile by Hayato. Sa lang ibig sabihin nun, kampante na si Hayato that this Getter is now in good hands. So, well, medyo hindi kaya ni Takuma itong higanting insektong to. So, Hayato now has no choice but to unleash Getter Arc, yung unfinished creation ni Professor Saotome. Alright? So, siya ang nagtapos sa project na to. So, pinalaunch na niya to the pilot known as Kamui. He's half dinosaur. Okay? So, in a heartbeat, Getter Arc is now in the thick of the fight. Kasama na si Takuma. They were able to take out this giant insect. Excuse me. Getter Beam. Ginamit pareho. Wow. Okay. Takes me back to those days. Final scene. Of course, nagpakilala na si Kamui kila Takuma. Yep. Ganun lang final scene. Overall, wow! It's an awesome pilot. Alright? Pinakita ng episode na to kung gaano kaangas ang bagong henerasyon ng mga pilots ng Getter Robo. Alright? It takes me back to the old days. Alright? During those times, ang maangas bang piloto nun si Hayato. Right? Siya lang ang may angas nun. Pero ngayon mukhang tatlo na sila. Pace. Well, the setting is now post-apocalyptic. So, medyo tense. Okay? And if it's tense, the pace is automatically fast. Even though it doesn't feel like it. Ganun lang yan. So, well, but there was the sense of urgency that the enemy here now is the Andromeda Flow country. Keep that in mind, folks. Right? So, the stakes, yeah, it's higher now. Okay? It's higher now. So, you have to understand, this is a mecha anime. Much more, a classic mecha franchise. So, talagang, it's known for fast-paced action. Take a look at Mazinger Z. Right? Voltes 5. Yan. Daimos. All the Robot Romance Trilogy animes. Yan. Puro fast-paced yan. And of course, Getter Robo. Alright? Flow naman. Well, first gear shift is when Takuma and this monk, I forgot the monk's name. I forgot the monk's name. They were able to save a convenience store from destruction kasi kasi naglipanan na mga gang eh. And they were there just to buy some stuff, some food, some essentials. So tinulungan nilang well, just the two of them, okay? Talagang hilahod ng buong gang. Walang nagawa ang gang na to. Sa kanilang dalawa lang. So they were able to buy some stuff. And nagpasalamat naman yung mga may-ari. And they saw this motorcycle with a sidecar. Kinuha nila. That's the gear shift, okay? That's the gear shift itself. When they commandeered a motorcycle with a sidecar. So, may transportation na. Thank you, gang. Alright? That was the actual reward for beating the shit out of that gang. Okay? For beating the shit out of that entire gang. Ito yung reward nila. Okay, kunin nila. So, second gear shift is when, the monk's premonition came true nung bumagsak yung getter dito dun sa mismong spot na sinabi niya na merong babagsak na malaking robot. Ayun. It's getter dito. So, nagkatotoo. If it weren't for that gear shift, Takuma won't be able to pilot this getter. Right? And he knows it like the back of his hand. Talagang bago sakay pa lang eh. And he didn't need special gear to protect himself from the potential G-force. Right? Wala. He took it all. Final gear shift is when they finally beat this giant insect. Of course, first fight ito ni Getter Arc. So nakita rin lahat. Demonyo eh. Okay? It's more demonic looking than the than Getter Robogo. Than the one in Getter Robogo. Alright? Wow. Can Getter Robo get more demonic than this? Talagang mukhang demonyo yung itsura eh. Right? So, it went hardcore on the enemy. Poof! Patay! Right? These three gear shifts I saw, right, will play a role in this anime. Okay? Tandaan nyo, this is not a reboot. It's a sequel. Kasi kinontinue ang storya ng kinontinue ang storya ng Getter Robogo dito. So, it's still part of the Getter Robo franchise. Which makes it more exciting to review. Medyo familiar ako sa franchise ito because I actually grew up watching Getter Robo. Okay? Wow! That was an awesome pilot. Okay? So far, it's one of the best pilots this summer 2021. So, Getter Robo Arc Episode 1. 2 thumbs up. You know, dapat talaga dapat talagang ibalik yung mga classic robot, yung mga classic anime franchises yan. Getter Robo. Of course, the upcoming Nighthead. Yeah, maganda rin yan. So, it's a classic cyberpunk franchise. So, yeah. I'm filling you in right now, mga ka-lifestyle. We will be reviewing that anime. We will be reviewing that reboot. Alright? So, natutuwa ako. Being an OG anime fan. Okay? Mecha was the genre that made me an anime fan. Right? With animes like Mazinger Z, Daimos, Getter Robo, and during the 80s, Laserion, yan, Macross, of course, Gundam, marami bang iba. Right? And up to now, I am still a mecha anime fan. Okay? I'm still a mecha fan. And, nung nalaman ko na babalik na ang franchise na to, wow! Okay? Sabi ko, sige. let's see what we can do with the roster for summer 2021. Ayun, pasok ang Get a Robo arc. Okay? So, yeah. I am going to have a blast reviewing this part of this franchise. Mukhang talagang wow, right? It's a whole new twist to the Get a Robo franchise. Talagang I personally want to know how the getters will be able to handle this kind of an environment. Right? Kasi talaga ang gulo na ng mundo ngayon dito sa arc. Okay? Ang gulo na ng mundo. Wow. Right? Simply wow. So again, Get a Robo arc episode 1. 2 thumbs up.
Welcome back, Get a Robo!
So, title of the next episode has been teasered. Hindi ko muna paniniwalaan. I really want to know what happened to Ryoma, yung tatay ni Takuma. Kasi, he's nowhere to be found. And even the monk's brother, who was one of the... tatlo silang original pilot talaga eh. Okay? We all know, Get a Robo is a super robot with interchangeable parts. It can actually form 3 different super robots. Ganong ka-unique ang Get a Robo. Right? So, wow. I just can't wait for the next episode. Right? So, tutok na lang tayo. Watch that. And in the meantime, enjoy the other reviews, folks. Wow! Wow! Okay. Una-una sa lahat, I enjoyed watching the pilot. Okay? So, let's get I'm gonna give you a rundown of what happened. Alright. Basically, the episode brought us to the daily undertakings of the Duke. Okay? So, well, we now know everything he touches dies. Every living thing that he touches dies. Okay? Ito namang kasambahan niya na si Alice, I think she doesn't care because she continuously sexually harasses him. Alright? She makes advances even the girls of Peter Grill would blush. Okay? She would give the girls of Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time a run for their money when it comes to making advances to the main character. Alright? Well, the origin of the Duke's strange power is this. It's a curse. Alright? And it seems the entire probably the entire kingdom knows of his curse. Kasi nung bata siya, isinumpa siya ng isang witch. This was the curse. So every living thing he touches will die. So yeah, despite Alice's advances, if he manages to touch her, she dies. Ganun lang yan. Kaya todo pigil talaga si Duke dito. Todo pigil. Alright? And Alice seems to not give a fuck about the curse. Alright? She makes, sabi ko sa inyo she makes sexual advances at the main lead character, at the main character. It will give the girls of Peter Grill a run for their money. Alright? Ganon katindi siya yung mandemonyo. Ganon siya katindi mandemonyo. Right? And she's got this to match. Okay? Talaga tinatapat yung ganun. Talaga tinatapat sa mukha ng Duke. Grabe. Well, Philip was actually convincing Alice to leave the Duke. Pero the Duke overheard them. Sabi niya, disrespect me all you want, but not Alice. Ooh. Right? So, well, out of delicadeza, umalis na si Philip. Right? So, tinuloy pa rin niya yung report niya sa nanay. Okay? And, final scene. Well, all's well that ends well. The Duke has had a really hearty and peaceful dinner, right? Pero inaffirm sa kanya ni Alice that she will go on, that she will continue making meals for him. Okay? Because yeah, it's for him. Because she's doing it all for him. So, saka, type naman din niya si Alice eh. Ang kaso nga lang, hindi niya mahawakan. Alright? Type naman din ng Duke eh, si Alice. So, yeah, it's quite a dilemma the main protag has in this anime. Talagang, ano ba to? Magbibigyan ko ba to? Ano? Woo! Grabe. Overall, it's a fantastic pilot. All right? Talagang it clearly showed us what kind of storyline we'll be expecting in this anime. Right? Pace. Well, aminin man natin o hindi, the pace was slow. Pero it's both a comedy and a romance anime, and a comedy and a romance anime. Expect the slowness. Right? Pero it knows how to break the monotony by every time Alice's sexual advances are always funny in nature. Okay? So okay lang. Okay? The anime, this episode was properly paced. Alright? It was properly paced. Yun lang ang masasabi ko. Flow naman. What? First gear shift that I saw here was when when the Duke told this backstory. Right? That when he was little, a witch placed a curse on him. Then since that day onwards, his life was a living hell. His life is a living hell. Because nagamit tuloy yung long table ng mismong bahay ng pamilya nila. Nagamit ng maigi. Andun siya sa pinakadulo. Okay? Nandun siya sa pinakadulo ng long table na yon. Okay? So, nagagamit ng maigi yung long table. May silbi ngayon. Right? And, wow. Alright? Even his own mother despises him. Right? That's demoralizing. Right? That is demoralizing. If you're faced with a situation like this, who do you run to first? Family. Kung ganito ang pamilya mo, talagang walang support, itinapo ka nga sa ibang bahay. Right? He now, the house where he lives in now is owned by his family. Doon na siya talaga pinatira. Doon sa itinapo ng nanay niya. With no moral support, and you got a curse as deadly as this, buti di nag-iisip na magpakamatay ito si Duke. It can lead you to suicide. It can make you, it's absolutely depressing. Luckily for the Duke, he has Alice. Yan. Lumalabas si Alice ng support system niya rito. And if it weren't for that gear shift, we wouldn't realize that. Alright? Final gear shift. Okay, dalawa lang actually nakita ko rito. Was when was during that scene when the Duke actually defended Alice against Philip. Kasi kinukonvince nga ni Philip na kinukonvince ni Philip si Alice na layasan na niya ang Duke. Kahit bigyan pa niya ng ibang trabaho to. So, yan, talagang, well, the Duke asserted himself as the man of the house. Basically. Right? Well, I don't know why Philip had the gall to disrespect the man of the house that way. Alright? You disrespect the man of the house, yeah. You get shown the door. Even here, even in Filipino culture. Okay? You do not disrespect the man of the house. Okay? Yun ang lesson dun. So, these two gear shifts that I saw, it gave us a precedent as to what kind of storyline this anime is in store for us. Alright? Those two gear shifts made me realize that. And the first gear shift, yeah, it will play a role in future episodes. It will play a role in the entire anime, actually. Okay? Plot-wise, excuse me, malinis. Alright? The plot is really clean. Kahit nagkaroon ng backstory, ilang minuto lang ba yung backstory na yun? More or less a minute. It's not gonna take up much of your time. And it's probably the most relevant backstory in the episode kasi ikinwento ng Duke kung paano niya nakuha yung curse na yun. Alright? How his life has been ever since he was cursed. So, yeah. Without that backstory, the plot wouldn't have made much sense. Alright? So, malinis ang plot. Alright? Talagang naka-focus sa daily lives ng dalawa, okay, the Duke and Alice. Okay? It's the Duke's job to keep himself away from any living thing, and it's Alice's job to be his support system and to since, well, I think it's a guilty pleasure of her. It's a guilty pleasure of hers to sing those sexual advances, all right? Whenever the situation is whenever she seems fit. Okay, whenever she seems fit. Grabe sexual harassment na ginagawa ni Alice dito. All right? She will do anything just to get a rise out of the Duke. Ganun pa naman. May ganun siya. Right? You get what I'm saying, mga kalaysa? She has this. Alright? She's equipped. She's equipped for the job. So, pace, flow, and plot, yeah, they really came together for this pilot. Right? Talagang, I had a blast watching and reviewing it. Grabe. Sign of things to come for this anime. So yeah, it's got the chops to rake in the hype. Okay, so the Duke of Death and is made episode 1. Isip pa. Oh, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. You know, let us go back to summer 2020. Okay. We reviewed an anime called Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time. And there's also another sexually suggestive anime that we reviewed in that season. Super Hexeros. Pero it's not as suggestive as Peter Grill. This anime had Peter Grill's suggestiveness. Alright? Talagang si Alice, at every chance she gets, she will talaga didemonyuhin niya ang Duke dito. Alright? She's what you call this? Yeah, sexually harassing the Duke is a guilty pleasure of hers. Okay? So, doon kasi sa Peter Grill, the girls who are sexually harassing Peter Grill himself, they found it necessary kasi he was the strongest warrior on the planet. So having having them father their child is a big thing. Alright? Eh dito, well, hindi naman siguro aabot sa ganun ng what you call this? Yung spiciness ng anime na to. Pero Peter Grill, yeah, it's one of the spiciest animes I have ever watched, okay? None can be spicier than Peter Grill, okay? At least any non-hentai, okay? Kasi borderline hentai ang Peter Grill. Nope, this is not a hentai. It's not even borderline hentai. So talagang wow, talaga na to. Natawa ko talaga eh. She will tempt the Duke at every chance she gets. Okay? Which contributes to how funny this anime can be. Right? You can see it's a dark comedy kasi merong curse na involved eh. May curse na involved. Kaya gusto na nga sunggapan ng Duke eh. Gusto na nga sunggapan ng Duke, pero inaalala niya yung kanyang sumpa. Yung sumpa sa kanya. Oras na mga ganun lang niya si Alice, mamamatay na yun eh. Sa oras na kahit magdaplisan lang niya si Alice na ganun, patay. Patay si Alice. That's how strong the curse is. That's how strong his curse is. Okay? Kahit nakagwantes siya, basta I don't know if you've seen that scene. He was on a swing that's attached to a tree, and nung he was avoiding this butterfly landing on him, nakawakan niya ganun yung puno. Kasi nagdanta siya ng kamay na ganun eh. Sa puno mismo. Ayun, namatay ang puno. Patay ang puno. So yung branch na naka-attach doon, na uma-attach doon sa swing, bumigay. Wala na eh. Patay na yung puno eh. Right? So hindi na ganong katiba yun. Right? That's how strong the curse is. So kaya nga eh. So he's doing everything he can to resist Alice's sexual advances. Although may gusto rin siya rito. Right? That's the dilemma the main protagonist is facing. Will be facing in this anime. So nakita natin lahat in the pilot on how frustrating it is for him. Right? So, yeah. I'm gonna have fun watching and reviewing this anime. So, again, The Duke of Death and His Maid, Episode 1. So, thumbs up.
Hey, rousing 2 thumbs up, makaka-lifestyle.
So, title of the next episode has been teasered. Ang titling niya parang ala Peter Grill ang titling eh. Ala Peter Grill din ang titling. That's why this anime reminds me so much of Peter Grill. Even how they title their episodes. Right? So, hintayin na natin next week. Let's watch that one. So we can maybe we can deep dive into it more. Spring 2021 has been, a solid anime season for us because, nearly all the animes in our spring roster got good reviews, right? And, in case you haven't noticed, I have reviewed 4 finales and more or less 5 pilots or 6. I forgot. I lost count. in this particular digest. That means only one thing. This is a transition digest. Because, hindi naman natin maiiwasan na sa eksaktong unang araw ng summer 2021, magsisimula ang karamihan sa mga animes on our new roster. Right? So, I would like to personally thank all of you for, watching all the reviews I've made this anime season. Especially the ones for number 50 and the Anniversary Digest. Alright? Takes me, that Anniversary Digest really took me way back. Right? It took me back to those days. Thank you for, sharing your insights. Sharing your own insights on those particular anime episodes with me. Right? I would love to see your engagements again this in this upcoming review season, which starts next week. So again, thank you everybody for basically sticking out with me this past spring 2021 for our respective reviews. And my last words are, see you in Volume 5.